Now, these were bottom of the ladder teams last year, but there's a lot of talk about them moving up this year.
Well, actually, Ian, I'm looking forward to this game because we saw Richmond, who performed well in the Foster's Cup, but I was impressed with Brisbane last week against North Melbourne.
Yeah, well, I think that having a look at the Richmond team, Don, you can run through that.
Well, coming into the side, Drew's already mentioned Jeff Hogg at full forward, also Steven Jackson, and they were important players when they played well in the pre-season game. Bremen coming in, and also Lays.
I think the Bears, the interest in their team is the introduction of new players, Chapman, Voss, who played quite a few games last year, Fletcher from St Kilda, Peos, Leppitsch, Francis and Buckley. And surely, Drew, that has to improve the Brisbane side and make them very competitive throughout this year.
Well, I would say so, and let's look at the record. And Brisbane lead these contests between Brisbane and Richmond 5 games to 4. And with a lot of those new players, who knows what might happen here tonight. Yes, Friday night football at the MCG. Hope you enjoy it. We'll be back soon.
I'm Tony Free from the Richmond Football Club. Keep watching football on Channel 7.
Welcome back to the MCG, and on the boundary line tonight, and here with his Mitsubishi Motors ground report, Gerard Healy. Evening, Gerard.
Good evening, Drew, and it's a fantastic night to be down on the boundary line. Absolutely no wind here. They're a little bit outside the stadium, but none at ground level, so no goal advantage. Currently, the temperature is 13 degrees, the expected overnight low, a chilly 8 degrees. Humidity is 48%, but the ground's in excellent condition, and the forecast is for a fine and cool night. Couldn't be better down here.
Now, against last year's finalists, these two teams might be long odds, but against each other, what about tonight? Who are you going for, Gerard?
Well, I've tossed the coin and I've come up with the Tigers in a close one.
Good on you, mate. Is it a toss of the coin? It's pretty close, isn't it?
Oh, I think it's a great contest. The Bears obviously must have played pretty well last week against North Melbourne. And you have to take into account North Melbourne would have been really geared up under the change of coaches, with Pagan taking over from Schimmelbusch. So the Bears, I'm tipping the Bears to win.
And I'm also going for the Bears, Ian. After last week's performance, obviously they've got some goal-kicking power. Simon Eichel, Todd Bremen taking the interchange bench.
Well, I suppose Richmond have to be fired up too, Don, don't they? They were obviously
they were
very
disgraceful.
disappointing last Sunday.
Had very, very few good players. Chris Naish played well for them up in the forward line, 4 goals, 3. Nathan Buckley there on screen, the Port Adelaide recruit. It's good to see him going up to Brisbane too after all that controversy over pre-season. Fabian Francis played at Melbourne, so he'd be no stranger to this game. And also Michael Murphy.
Umpires in charge tonight are Keith Callaghan and Chris Mitchell. And there's Jeff Hogg, and wasn't he missed last week? Up against Ashley Green, who had a hard time of it against John Longmire last week. A fair bit of bumping going on off the ball between Champion and Scott. And in the middle, Schaefer wins for the Tigers. McQueen fires out a good hand pass. Lambert off and running, and the Tigers burst into attack. Hogg in front. That's what they wanted last week, and they've got it within 10 seconds tonight.
It's interesting that Brisbane are playing a loose man in defence. That's Nathan Chapman, but his inexperience showed on that occasion because he just was not in front to help Ashley Green. You can see there Jeff Hogg taking the mark in front of Green, but as I said, Nathan Chapman should have been in that hole.
Hogg, 40 metres out, right in front. The kick is good. Well, what a start for the Tigers.
What about poor old Ashley Green? He'd be hating this ground, wouldn't he? Longmire took him apart last week, and the first, I suppose, or the second real kick for goal, first real kick for goal. Bring back memories of last week for him. Tried valiantly, just not good enough on this occasion.
Well, it all came from the centre bounce where Schaefer was very good. This time Kennedy bashes it towards centre half forward. Another hit on. Finishes now with Fletcher. Fletcher's kick into the forward line, and a straightforward mark is taken by Peos, who I think is going to be a real acquisition for the Bears. He's a gifted player, Paul Peos.
Took 5 goals last week, Ian, for Morningside. That's in the QFL.
Looks $1 million, doesn't he? With all the oil on the arms. And he's shooting for goal from about 30 metres out, slight angle. Usually a very, very good kick is Peos. And it's straight through the centre. The Bears get their first goal.
Well, that could be a sign of things to come. We've had a goal at each end in the first minute.
Well, there was a shootout last week, wasn't it? Brisbane and North Melbourne. They just went for it. It was well done by Adrian Fletcher, the way he picked the ball up in the centre there and delivered it so well to Peos. And there he is playing a full forward, Paul Peos.
Schaefer, the ex-South Australian. Kennedy, the crew cut for the Bears. Back in the middle. Schaefer wins again. What's the story? If you win in the middle, you kick a goal? It might be that way. Chance here for Campbell. Jackson caught behind. Hogg didn't have first touch.
There's a free kick going the other way to Brisbane.
It's Jackson, wasn't it?
So Green kicks towards the outer side. First defender to get a kick tonight. And at half-back flank, the mark is taken by Kennedy. Away they go. Here's Buckley. He's kicked to centre half forward. Well, that's a top mark. No, not paid. Champion, 40 metres out. He's offline with this one. A mark or not at centre half forward?
Very close. Could have nearly paid it. This is Scott for Richmond. To kick it back into play. Elects to go to the far side. A good kick too by Scott. A little too high, too early was the Richmond player there, MAXFIELD. And the free kick to go to Voss. His short pass is for Kennedy. Lambert, good marking there, very good. Away for BAIN. Under pressure. Richmond with persistence there will get clear. Lambert's kick up to the full forward line. Punched away by Green, out to left half back. taken by McQueen. Naish is there. Back goes Gastier. Gives away a little bit of yardage. Leslie, kick close to the boundary line. Richmond in the van. McQueen can't gather. In comes Matthew Campbell for the Brisbane Bears, but he takes it over for a boundary throw-in right on the 50-metre line.
Good kick by Leslie, who was under a lot of pressure. He went for the boundary line.
Boundary throw-in, Kennedy in front. The 241s. The 41 for Richmond was Turner. Here's Leslie. Handball's clear. Not quite clear enough. Hernaman. Away goes to Young. Young's kick to the goal square. Jackson got it at the back. Better judgment, Shane?
Oh, I don't know. I just about given up. You watch the way the players push one another off. When I was playing football, if you did that, it was either a push in the back. Players just do not know how to use their bodies properly nowadays. But anyway, the umpires paid it.
And Jackson a chance to get Richmond's second goal. And he kicks it straight through the centre. So Steven Jackson kicks his first goal. Hogg has kicked a goal. Richmond lead by 5 points.
It all started with a bad turnover by BAIN in the centre square. Here Leslie did well to get rid of it. But BAIN turned it over, and then it was Knights who took it away, and hence the ball went down on the forward line. Play continued for a little while, finishing up with Jackson.
Back in the middle, and the Tigers 2 goals to 1-1. But Noonan out of the middle for the Bears. Hasn't cleared the centre square yet. Punched on by Champion. Taken by Free. Kick round the corner, up short of half forward. Turner. Leslie interfered with him. Free kick Turner.
Just too slow, Martin Leslie put the hand out to try and retard Turner.
Steven Jackson kicked the last goal, and a pretty tough assignment for Nathan Chapman, a youngster from Kangaroo Flat, playing in his second game. Kick by Turner. Great distance, too much distance for the Richmond forwards, and it made it easy, actually, for Chapman. He shows some potential, that young lad. Out he goes to Voss, ex-star in the Teal Cup for Queensland. On to McIver. Good to see him back fresh after injury. Leppitsch, a youngster playing his second game. Up towards full forward, wide for Peos. Not a great kick by Leppitsch, out of bounds.
Yes, well, maybe not quite the use of the football that Robert Walls would have been looking for there from Justin Leppitsch. But still, it's in the left forward pocket for the Bears. I think it's going to be a really interesting game, this. In perfect conditions at the cricket ground. Merrett doing the ruck work with Schaefer. Down to Young. Hernaman gets clear. He's kicked well, smothered. Brilliantly done by Buckley. Can't do much with the footy close to the boundary line. But he's congratulated by his teammate there for a good smother.
Isn't that great stuff by the McGarry medalist? He's not just chasing kicks and hand passes. That's a real good smother. It doesn't go on the stats.
Well, I think that's important, very important. He's one of the players that they're going to be looking for to help them up the ladder. Champion's kick. Oh, top effort by Howard. Crashes his way through. Backs himself very much so there, John Howard. Handball into the centre of the ground. Hernaman. He's got some big raps on him, this young man. Gets around onto the right foot and hooks the kick into the left forward pocket. Hogg gets rid of Green. Goes after it again. The tap on, looking for Jackson. In goes McIver. Back goes Kennedy. Football with Naish. He's caught by Green. And the umpire will ball it up.
Well, the umpire had a good view of it.
It's about 30 metres from the Richmond goal. The bounce. Taken away for the Bears by Fletcher. His high kick goes to half-back. Doesn't clear the pack. Knights. Beautiful kick by Knights. It's a goal. Matthew Knights kicks his first goal. Very damaging player. And Richmond kicked their third. They're 3 straight. The Bears are 1-1.
Didn't have a good game last week, Matthew Knights, but then again, he's not Robinson Crusoe because he had a lot of teammates. Although he had 25 possessions, managed 1 goal, 1. He only just went best and fairest winner at Richmond last year.
Back in the middle, and Schaefer doing well. Oh, Lambert at full stretch. Ball hacked off the ground up towards half forward. Leppitsch outnumbered 2-1. Young gets back there. Good turn of pace to get out of trouble. To Free. Kicked by Tony Free to the outer wing. Lambert outnumbered. Voss got a hand of the ball and goes back after it. Looks for the boundary line unashamedly. Kept in by Hart. On to BAIN. Good running by the Bears. Ashcroft is kicked to about 30 metres. Peos.
They're doing it well, aren't they? The way they combined out there. Voss initially, then BAIN.
He's a good young player, that Voss.
Looked to be limping a bit then.
It's actually
Peos when he took that mark.
I thought so too, Drew. He pulled up very quickly.
Marcus ASHCROFT delivering the ball.
Paul Peos, the ex-West Coast Eagle, is the only goal scorer to date for the Bears. Can he make it 2 out of 2? Just about right in front, 40 metres out. Missed it to the right.
Actually, it wasn't a good kick. He was a bit too close to the man on the mark, and if you had a look at that kick in replay, you'd see he'd bend the knee. It wasn't a taut instep as he went through. Didn't kick through the ball.
Well, I think you were right. I think he's kicked it. He's kicked it because he's got the crook leg. Howard, kick into centre-half back. Punched away by Champion. Free kick. It is going to Richmond. It'll be taken by Scott. Gets the ball away for MAXFIELD. He's got plenty of space. And kicks effectively with the left foot up towards centre-half forward. No mark taken. At the back, Naish. Left foot snapshot. Naish has threaded it through. A brilliant kick by Chris Naish. Results in Richmond's 4th goal. They're 4 straight. Bears 1-2.
Well, he's starting to mature, Naish. Came to Richmond with big raps from Wangaratta. Took a while to settle into the side. Now, with confidence and maturity, you see there, this is a confident kick for goal, isn't it? Normally a right foot kick. They're kicking beautifully on the left on that occasion.
Well, what a difference a start makes. Last week, Richmond had conceded 3 goals to none in the first 6 minutes. Tonight, 4 goals to 1 in the first 10 minutes.
Starting in the centre there, Drew, because
Schaefer's too tall.
Well, that's right. Matthew Kennedy just not quite. Well, he just hasn't got the spring, has he? Maybe he should change his run-up, come in from the side. Got to do something a little different.
Kennedy from the left. Oh, Schaefer gets it down to Lees. His kick inside the 50. Static forward line. Hogg delayed his charge of the ball till very late. Gastev gets back there. Kicks out towards half-back flank. Noonan works to the front, can't take the mark. Voss is there. Grabbed by Knights. He was grabbed when he didn't have it. Free kick to Knights. Pardon me, gone to the Bears. Donald, did you see that? Was that a free kick to Knights or not?
Well, I thought so, but...
Free kick now taken by Campbell. Up towards the forward pocket. And Hogg.
Well, the Bears have got some problems stemming from the centre bounce where Schaefer at 201 centimetres and Hogg.
Oh, how they missed him last week. Mind you, it wasn't being pumped into the forward line with the regularity of tonight. And this could be 5 straight goals to the Tigers in the first 12 minutes. And is 2 to Hogg. Great start, Don.
Yes, and Jeff Hogg just a little too strong on that occasion for Ashley Green. You see there the body jostling. Gets front position. And shows the experience. And the other thing is he is a magnificent kicker of the football, Jeff Hogg. And it's good when you've got a forward who is capitalising on the work further up the ground.
Well, still the Bears go with Kennedy at the centre bounce. Bounce is a little awkward. Probably favoured him in the finish. Leslie tries to crash his way through. Free leaves it behind. Lambert, ASHCROFT for the Bears. Buckley dispossessed by Lees. Kick falls short. Hernaman tried to take it in front of himself. Fletcher. Kick smothered off Buckley's boot by Young. Free tries to crash his way through. BAIN nearly caught with the footy. Too high, says the umpire. Maybe David BAIN a little fortunate. Hand pass away is not bad. Chapman is the recipient of that hand pass. He's kicked towards half forward. No mark taken by Leppitsch, neither by Howell. In comes Voss. Well done by young Voss. Scrappy kick. They've let themselves down with field kicking so far, the Bears. Here's a chance now for Bullis. In front there is MAXFIELD. Merrett grabbed around the neck, and he will receive the free kick, Roger Merrett, for the tackle a little too high.
Nathan Chapman limping in the centre of the ground after having that kick smothered off his boot in the centre square.
Merrett's kick in short, and the mark taken by Menegola.
Top mark by Menegola. And wide open to the Tigers out here. Schaefer. Away to Young. 20-metre hand pass. Fumbled by Lees. ASHCROFT on his hammer. Turner. Breaks the tackle of Buckley. Buckley had it twice in the centre a while ago and didn't get a possession. One kick and one hand pass smothered. Voss. Leslie, but over the top of him, and the mark was taken there by Fletcher. Now here comes Kennedy. Up to centre half forward. Ball on the deck, chance for the Bears. Through goes Merrett and Leppitsch. Schaefer gets a difficult kick out, doesn't clear the 50. Fletcher's hand pass is taken away. Free towards the outer side. All Brisbane. Glad it's you and not me. Voss takes the mark.
Voss's hand pass, probably not the right thing to do. Hospital one for Kennedy. Held too high was Knight, surely, and he'll take the free kick. Matthew Knight's in the centre of the ground. Loose player, Schaefer, drops what he should have taken. Chance now for Chapman. Hand pass good. Fletcher just a little slow. Up towards half forward. Merrett in the middle of the action. Bullis too high, and Bullis will receive the free kick and a 50-metre penalty against the Bears. Will take Bullis right up to the centre of the ground.
It'll be frustrating to player to play on Bullis. He's always there. He's an untidy looking player. He's certainly very effective in nullifying his opponent.
Richmond 5 straight goals. Brisbane 1-2. The Tigers have made a great start. McQueen can't quite take this mark. Leslie uses the hip and shoulder pretty well on Free. Free does well to stand up to it. Hurried kick though, and the mark taken by Kennedy. Short pass to centre half back. Trouble. Knights gets there and makes it a contest. This is good. Free off the left. Up towards the edge of the goal square. It bounces through for Hogg. He's kicked 2 already. Hooks back. Not a bad effort. That's the Tigers' first miss.
They're just picking the wrong option, aren't they, Brisbane? They have Voss handballed a high ball in towards the centre. It was cut off. That one by Kennedy was also cut out. Just things not going. They've just got to pick the right option.
Green kicks it in towards centre half back. 2-on-1. Richmond can't quite hold the mark. Chance there for Voss, who's been very creative. Gathered by Kennedy was stylish. He's kicked towards right half forward. Punched away by Lees, but a free kick has been picked out of it. And it's going to the Bears to be taken by Richard Champion.
It was against Scott pushing.
Short pass is not bad. Just a little short there for Merrett. Tap on. Peos can't control the footy. Kicked off the ground by Howell. Free kick. Bears are going to receive this, and it could go to Peos, and he's in.
Still limping, isn't he?
Yes, he's favouring his right leg, I think, but it's not his free kick.
Actually, it was good play here by Adrian. Fletcher kicked the ball off the ground. He ran through, kicked it off the ground, finished up with Peos.
Yes, I'm sorry, I thought Merrett was going to take that, but it is Peos, and it probably was awarded against Menegola for holding. We just saw the replay there, and Peos being retarded by Todd Menegola. Chance for his second goal. Only about 15 metres out. Slight angle. And this time he kicks more accurately, and it's a goal. So Paul Peos has got 2 goals. For Richmond, Jeff Hogg has kicked 2 goals, and the difference 17 points in favour of the Tigers.
It's good to see them having a little bit more support down here, Brisbane.
Just going to say that. There's a little group of Brisbane supporters there, and the kid sitting on centre wing on his own. Interesting how he'd be a Brisbane Bears supporter.
Michael Murphy coming on as Paul Peos goes off.
Well, Paul Peos has kicked both of the Bears' goals, but was clearly limping after his second mark and has gone to the bench and has now been replaced by Murphy, who is the ex-Adelaide Crow and North Melbourne player. Out of the centre, it was to be a Bears free kick. No, Richmond free kick.
They're against Hart, shepherding the big man away from the bouncing ball.
Free kicks are 7 each. Kicked by Schaefer to full forward. Still there for the Tigers. Well done by Howard, ex-Melbourne defender. Up towards Jackson. Going to switch down there in defence. Ball's gone out. And Green now has Jackson as his opponent.
Boys forward line, full forward line could be a little bit slow. They've got Merrett and also Michael Murphy in the forward pocket.
2 41s go against each other. Turner, the Richmond 41, gets it to the back. Free gets a good run from Maxfield, but he laid it like an egg. Gathered by Buckley, up towards the centre of the ground. Chance for Champion at the back. It comes his way, but he goes to ground. Free, caught by BAIN, then BAIN copped one in the eye. Howard, a lively hand pass. It goes through Hernaman to Schaefer. Up inside the 50. McQueen in front. Comes to Leslie, and Martin Leslie clears around the boundary line. Good kick.
It certainly was. Ashcroft looking to play on. Chapman going to get caught. Gets the hand pass away. Rather fortuitous there, the Bears. A good tackle on Fletcher by Lees.
Yeah, that was
been rewarded.
Yes, and the umpire deemed he deliberately went over the boundary line with that hand pass.
Lees kicked to left half forward. Punched away. Gathered by Jackson. Feigned the hand pass. Then got round onto the right foot. Kicks it to the goal front. That could have nearly been in the back against.
That's what I'm talking about.
Gee whiz, it looked as though he had his hand in the middle of Hogg's back, but away he goes and gets it out to Boss. Exciting prospect, young Boss. He's kicked towards full forward, no mark taken. BAIN kicks it to himself, picked up by Howard. Kick smothered. Through goes Champion, 50 metres from goal. He hooks the kick high to the goal front. In front Murphy, knocked to the front. Hernaman, handball back for Menegola, his kick. Outside 50 metres. Richmond should clear this. They've got 3-on-1. Oh, lovely little throw. And away goes Hernaman off the left foot. Kick goes close to the centre of the ground. Fletcher bumped off the football unfairly, according to the umpire, and Fletcher will take the free kick for the Bears.
They've mastered the throw, the Tigers. Lambert gave a couple of little ones last week that resulted in goals. Adrian Fletcher, now at his third club, up towards half forward. Oh, an excellent mark taken in front. Gathered there by Nathan Chapman. Into Kennedy. Oh, raking kick by Kennedy to the goal square. Murphy. And well spoiled by Menegola.
His father could certainly kick a ball. Matthew Kennedy, his father Des, played for St Kilda in the back pocket ruckman. He could certainly roost a ball, and his son did on that occasion. Normally a right foot kick.
He won a Chrysler car, courtesy of the opposition television channel. Billy Barrett and I were in the contest, and Desi Kennedy won the competition. Good mark taken by Fletcher. He takes the mark on the right half forward flank.
What'd you get, Robbo? Thanks for coming.
That's it. No second prizes. Fletcher's kick to the goal front. No mark taken. Bullis leaves it behind, but Lees is there to give him a bit of a hand. Lees' kick wide. Voss's bump on Maxfield, not bad. Neither player can control the footy. Boundary throw in left half forward for the Bears. So a pretty entertaining start to this game, as Bullis is forced to do the ruck work against Merrett. Ashcroft has the ball held to him there, and the umpire will bounce about 45 metres from the Bears' goal. Merrett, who kicked a few goals last week, free, got the job tagging Buckley. Knights, a high kick close to the centre. Champion can't quite control it. Kick it quickly, he does, young Kennedy. And a bash on, goes near to the goal front. Howard, a kick to the near side of the ground. No mark taken. Chapman falls over, which is going to be quite critical. Richmond now have got 3 players at ground level. Young, lovely hand pass. McQueen's bump on Buckley was what Don Scott was commenting on. Kick towards full forward. That's a mark. A great effort by Campbell. A terrific effort. He was in all sorts of trouble from Noonan, and he's able to take the mark about 45 metres from goal.
Gee, I don't like the way players do that. What McQueen did to...
Well, I did hear a comment today
that's just
that last week he was in that sort of position many, many times from North Melbourne players, Nathan Buckley, when the ball was down the ground. Campbell shot for goal. It's got good distance, but it's offline to the right-hand side.
Now what happens is that the player chasing, we get Nathan Buckley, the Brisbane Bears player. Now he was chasing. Now that shepherd, that's supposed to be a shepherd, but when guys line somebody up from 30 metres and lay a shepherd, if that's not a charge, I'll go he.
He was hardly being a shepherder then. He just had his back to the player. He just wasn't in the action, was he, Buckley?
Well, we've got two umpires. If one umpire's watching the player, what's the other umpire watching? What's happening off the ball, surely?
41 goes against 41. Kennedy wins this one towards the boundary line. Schaefer shepherds the ball out. Schaefer has been impressive. Richmond are winning the hit-outs 9-3, and Schaefer, playing just his second AFL game, is doing the job in the ruck. Scott goes against Kennedy this time, and Schaefer actually palms it down to Knights. High ball, 20 metres from goal, over the head of Hogg. Campbell palms the ball down, but it's Campbell of the opposition. Matthew Campbell takes it. Green's hand pass comes across to Leslie. Leslie, 15-metre hand pass. His teammate in trouble, but Ashcroft good enough. It was going to be a free kick. Matthew Campbell, named on the bench, started in the 18. A beautiful kick. Oh, just touched there by Scott. And it's going to be a Bears free right in front to Merrett.
He's a stylish player, Matthew Campbell, isn't he? Did well in the back line there, initiated it and followed up and then delivered the ball down the ground. It's terrific running.
Well, Roger Merrett was great last week and kicked 6 goals for the Bears as they romped away to 22 goals, which was a losing score, would you believe? Robert Walls doubted they'd ever kicked 22 goals in Melbourne before. Looking for the Bears' 3rd goal tonight to keep them in touch. Oh, good kick. No problem. Well, on play, you'd say Richmond has won this game quite clearly, but the margin's just 11 points.
It's good to see Merrett kicking that goal, because last year he really couldn't make any distance with his kicks for goal. It's the injury factor. There's Campbell, isn't he? A stylish player, well-built athlete. Nice kick. Free kick coming there. Bullis pushing.
So Roger Merrett kicking his first goal, the Bears' 3rd. The difference, as Drew has said, is 11 points in favour of Richmond. Noonan leaves it this time for Gastev. He's caught, but somehow he got through there. Richmond wouldn't be too happy with that. Now Kennedy's on the end of the hand pass. The rebound comes back towards Champion. Oh, terrific solid bump. Naish in trouble from the Champion crunch, and the umpire will bounce. Chris Naish getting up very, very slowly, and he looks as though he's okay there. Chris Naish is in the hands of the trainers, but a Brisbane Bears player came off the ground earlier, Paul Peos. Jared Healy.
Yeah, it's just a good old-fashioned corky to the thigh, Robbo. Should be back later in the game.
Gastev pokes it up short to the forward pocket. Awkward one for Buckley. Merrett's there. If he can palm it to Buckley, he does well. Roger Merrett off the ground. Leppitsch. Oh, give 5 of the 6 points to Roger Merrett, and the youngster Leppitsch, who was the Bears' first pick in the draft, socketed off the ground from the goal square.
Well, it was all set up by the experienced Merrett then. Leppitsch, I've watched him a little bit. He's all at sea at the moment. This is his 2nd game of AFL football. Well done by Merrett. Hitting the ball back in towards the centre, a la soccer style. Also, Wayne Harms did this in a grand final a couple of years ago. But they all count, and that's Leppitsch's first goal for the game.
Yes, he's a promising young player too, Don, isn't he? Only a young boy, about 18 years of age. And I think the Bears are on the right track if they can just have a blend of some experience, which they're looking for with Merrett, McIver, players of that calibre. Strong, but this could be an advantage for Richmond. There was a free kick, but Knights has got it. Handball over the top. Chance for Turner. Left foot kick by Turner. Not quite what Turner would have desired. Through for one behind. Useful player, Scott Turner.
He really has improved since he's come across to Richmond. He was all at sea at Melbourne. Couldn't get a game in the reserves at the end, and Played a couple of games at centre-half back in the senior side in the Foster's Cup Series, the night series, but really has improved since he's been here.
McIver's kick in, gathered by Kennedy. A high kick out near the wing. Getting rid of his opponent there was Champion and backs himself. But then a poor kick. Punched away by Young. The rover is BAIN. He's still got a chance, David BAIN, close to the boundary line. He's going to get a free kick for being held when he was not really in possession of the football. And the diminutive Brisbane Bears rover. Well, Barry Young may have inadvertently given David BAIN a little shove in the back there. And BAIN has the free kick in the right forward pocket. His kick across the face does score, but just to behind.
It'd be great to see the Bears have some success, because BAIN's been there for a few years and the Bears have been taking belting after belting and he's never let them down.
No, he's been a very good player, David BAIN, and quite unassuming in his own way. He just goes about it in a very workmanlike fashion.
Alistair Scott's got the job on Richard Champion. He was cut up last week, Scott, and looks like he's going to get cut up again tonight early in this game.
ASHCROFT in the back, surely. Richmond free. Listen to the Richmond fans. The Bears have kicked the last 3 goals. At one stage, the Tigers led 5 goals to 1. Lambert over the centre, Turner in front. The ball finishes at the back. Running onto it as Knights. Didn't take a clean possession. Hard work being done by Turner, but he lost out. And that's to Fletcher. Leppitsch, middle of the pack. Some have compared him to a young Dermot Brereton when he broke in.
Actually, Richard Champion, I've watched him all night. He's really developed a blind turn which gets him out of a lot of trouble. That time he got out of a lot of trouble, just stepping back a bit of a turn. It's really serving him well.
5 points the difference in favour of the Tigers. We're close to quarter time. A free kick has been picked out of the ruck contest, and it will go to Richmond to be taken by Schaefer. Good kick by that player too. Covers 45 metres straight towards centre-half forward. Chance here for Campbell. Had 2 goes at that. Eventually taken by Jackson. Still the Bears a chance to clear. Noonan shares it with Leslie. And Leslie's kick to centre-half forward. Marking. Oh, what a screamer! Wow. Buckley! What a beautiful mark.
It's a bit of class there.
Oh, he's a good player. I've got no doubt about this young man. And I'd say, after seeing him kick the football in Adelaide a couple of times last year, you've kicked the distance here.
He's given that the corkscrew and kept his footing. That was a terrific play.
No, he's a class player. Nathan Buckley from 45 metres out directly in front. Distance, no problem. And he gets the goal. Well, I think he's got class written all over him, Nathan Buckley. He kicks his first goal, and that has put Brisbane in front at quarter time. They're 5-4, Richmond are 5-3.
The name of the game is Australia.
Richmond 23 at 15 minutes.
Where's Green gone to?
By the Bears. They lead by a point, 5-4-34 to Richmond 5-3-33. And Richmond led by 23 points at the 15-minute mark in that first quarter, but the Bears kicked the last 4 goals. Goal scorers for Brisbane: Peos got the first 2 and then went to the bench, 1 each to Buckley, Leppitsch and Merrett, and for Richmond 2 to Hogg and 1 each to Naish, Jackson and Knights. Coming up on 7 Sports World on Sunday, and including the football hour, rugby league or Australian football, and also the Australian Touring Car Championship, round 3 at Phillip Island next Sunday. Check your local guides for details. Down on the boundary line, Jared Healy.
Yes, well, there's an interesting battle going on in the middle that's having a big bearing on this game between Matthew Knights and Adrian Fletcher. Knights was on top early for the Tigers and was giving them good run. Therefore, the Tigers got away to that early lead. But Fletcher fought back and he now leads possession-wise 5-9. And I think that's the reason why the Bears got involved.
So the bounce to start play in the second term. Kennedy taken by Knights, dispossessed. Green goes further away to Buckley. Buckley's kick to left half forward. Nearly a gather there by Leppitsch. Young is caught with the football. Hart, BAIN, now MAXFIELD misses it. Blind shot, Schaefer's kick. Not really all that effective. A free kick will go to Campbell. Advantages with Richmond, and they force the ball up to the right half forward area, but the mark is taken by Matthew Campbell. We've got Wayne Campbell playing for Richmond, Matthew Campbell playing for the Brisbane Bears. Here's a chance for McQueen, unselfishly goes to Knights, and Knights, oh, he's missed it from point-blank range.
Let's go back to that handball of Matthew Campbell. I mean, I mentioned about the wrong option earlier. That certainly wasn't on. Martin Leslie not that quick over the ground, gave it to him, they turned it over and it could have been a goal.
Scott McIver has had to go back into defence and is standing Jeff Hogg at the moment. To Leslie. Leslie over half-back flank. Voss takes the mark.
Interesting to see the Brisbane runner go out. I wonder who he's making a beeline for. I would say Matthew Campbell.
A hand pass to Chapman and now to Gastev, who's running all over the park. His kick a little bit wide. Fletcher, he just couldn't keep that in at half forward and will have a boundary throw in. Well, the Tigers should be in front. Knights should have kicked that goal on the run from about 15 metres, but the scores are level.
Boundary throw in, left half forward for the Bears. Schaefer and Kennedy. Schaefer too tall. Knights takes it away. Good hand pass. Free. Kicks it high in towards centre half forward. No mark taken. Punch back near the centre of the ground. Lambert. Sweeping hand pass too far for Knights, but McQueen is there. Attempted tackle by Boss. Knights, back he goes to MAXFIELD. MAXFIELD stumping kick to the goal square. is going to bounce through. No, it's touched right on the line by Scott McIver, and Johnny Gastev gives him a pat on the head.
Well, they're opening up the forward line for Hogg. They got Jackson way up on the 50-metre line. They want to get it down there quickly. That's their idea. A one-out battle, Scott McIver and Jeff Hogg, whereas the other end of the ground, Brisbane Bears, are playing their two forwards right in the goal square.
Kicked by McIver. Helped up the ground by Chapman, but intercepted by the Tigers. Lambert goes wide, and Jackson marks outside the 50. Hogg offers a lead in short. Very late kick, and Hogg drops the mark. He was still about 48 metres out from goal. Tigers have it again. Free will take the free kick. Thumps it back to full forward. McQueen using the body back there. McIver got hands to ball, but Campbell sees it out for the Bears. Matthew Campbell been around since the first year for the Bears in the competition, 1987. He's seen a lot come and go.
Kennedy tries to get the front posse. Fletcher dispossessed, got it again. Chance there for Schaefer. Knights is on the bottom of the pack. Fletcher goes in after it for the Bears. The umpire will bounce.
Actually, he'd be the only player left there, I think, wouldn't he? From 1987, Matthew Campbell.
Left forward pocket for Richmond. They lead by a point. Jackson tries to get it through his legs to the advantage of Wayne Campbell, but the boundary line takes over, so we'll have another throw in. Kennedy and Turner. Turner does well, but he knocks it down to Matthew Campbell for the Bears. His kick is high, out towards the wing. Lees, handball over the top to no one in particular, and Ashcroft can't quite do much with it there. One of their up-and-comers.
He'd be a hero of yours, Robbo. Had a hole-in-one on a Brisbane Bears golf day at Indooroopilly.
Good luck to him.
Marcus Ashcroft. Not too many can say that.
No, that's very true. Well done. Here's Johnny Howard for Richmond. Thumps it up to the 50-metre line. Oh, up goes McQueen and takes a screamer. Well, we saw him do that on quite a few occasions in the Foster's Cup match against Sydney at Lavington. Mark McQueen, shot for goal. Oh, it's right on the line. I think it's gone over the line for a goal. It has. A good kick there by McQueen. Kicks his first goal. Richmond lead by 7 points.
Well, number 28 used to be worn by Jeff Strang in the 60s. He was a great half-back. Real dasher off that line. Now McQueen's got it. He's playing half-forward. Very strong player. Here he is taking the mark in front. It's a pity that he did his hamstring in the pre-season games.
Back in the centre, and now it's a 7-point lead to the Tigers. Whipped out of there by Turner. No distance with the kick. Backhanded by Chapman. Comes to Kennedy. The Bears go forward. Peos back in, rather Murphy. Hand pass goes to Lambert. Around the boundary line, Menegola, short of...
There is a free kick behind plays going Brisbane's way. Too high, the umpire indicating.
Taken by Hart.
He's got the job on Lambert too.
Merrett works to the front. His strength doesn't win out this time. Schaefer goes back. Menegola out of the back pocket. Short of centre wing this one. Oh, and a good effort by Chapman, and the effort was paid.
Yeah, well, I think that was fair. And he did pretty well there, Nathan Chapman. Promising player. Will kick to within goal-scoring distance for the Bears. No mark taken. Menegola leads. But decides that the safety measure there was to let it roll over for a boundary throw-in. A lot of boos coming from the crowd. Obviously, the Richmond fans not happy with the free kick given just a moment ago. Merrett doing the ruck work. Leppitsch overruns it. Young is in there. Now Menegola's got the football. Smothered. Still got it underneath. Murphy, the tackler. Umpire, would you have awarded it for not moving it on?
No, I would have given it to Menegola for in the back.
Right. Gets a pat on the head from one of his teammates. The umpire, Keith Callaghan. bouncing in the right forward pocket. Merrett doing the ruck work. Away go the Tigers. Young and Naish. Naish with his right thigh heavily bandaged. Ball rebounds back near the centre. Kennedy, skillful play. Away for Chapman. Chapman's kick to left half forward. No mark taken. Richmond bash it back towards the wing. Matthew Campbell's handball all right for Champion. Goes in turn for Campbell again. He's going to be forced to kick with the left foot, but it's a lovely kick by Campbell. Right to the goal line. It's helped over by Menegola for a rush behind to the Bears.
Gee, that was good play.
Good play.
He's prepared to run down the ground. You don't see too many backmen do that. Used to be a feature of the play once upon a time. Give one and then run on.
So one straight kick the difference. Menegola towards the outer half-back flank. Not let down by 3. Hits the ground running and dashes up the field. The kick in between wing and half forward. Up climbed by Jackson, no mark. Comes to the back to Campbell. He bounces to the 50. Has to get rid of it. Naish runs onto it. Caught by Gastev.
No, it's a free kick. No, back. Campbell, free kick to Campbell. He was dealt with rather harshly. You can see there Naish and Gastev. Gastev's got the job on Naish. It's a big one at that too.
So it's back towards the 50 to Campbell, who was runner-up in their best and fairest last year.
As a ruck row, I think he's playing on the wing tonight.
He'll kick from 50 metres out. Good distance. Great kick. His first goal of the night, and tempers frayed down there. The Gastev-Naish business started it all, and it's not over yet.
Pushing and shoving, nothing much coming of it.
Well, the Bears just lost a little bit of concentration. McQueen, down goes McIver. Campbell's hand pass for Leslie. He in turn for Fletcher. Fletcher, very well done for Green. Green's kick goes directly towards centre half forward. No mark taken by Leppitsch. Breaks down. Scott just a little slow to get rid of it, but fortunately for the Tigers, it finishes with Maxfield. A thumping kick by Maxfield is forthcoming in towards a vacant centre half forward area. Taken by McQueen. Excellent Shepherd. McQueen misses it. Played an air shot. McIver underneath for Noonan, and it's out of bounds in the right forward pocket.
Good play there, won by McQueen there on screen. The way he attacked that ball pretty hard. Nearly set it up, just couldn't capitalise, and also good play by Scott McIver to clean up for Brisbane.
Kennedy and Turner, and Kennedy infringing against Turner. Turner will take the free kick. Well, that's
an
John
expert
Scott
comment, is it?
to tread in. But one wonders, I mean...
Just watch. Who grabs who and what? I mean, it wasn't the fact that Kennedy threw him to the ground. Turner exaggerated it, drew the umpire's attention to it. Very frustrating when that happens.
Turner's skills are tested, and he misses to the left.
A little justice there.
Well, I was watching Kennedy quite closely in that ruck contest, and I think he deliberately tried to wrap his arm around, but I don't think Scott Turner was too worried about it. Allowed everything to go ahead. Lambert can't break clear. Oh, that's in the back, isn't it? For Campbell. And now Bears get the free kick because Craig Lambert was not moving the ball on.
Now they've made a change. Is that Campbell coming off? Fabian Francis coming on anyway.
Well, that'll add a bit of pace to the side as Hart kicks it up towards centre half forward. Standing his ground very well was Howard. No free kick given. Scott caught with the football, able to get the hand pass away to Lees, and Lees gets Richmond out of trouble with a hand pass to Free. Free back near the centre. Naish is in a bit of trouble. His kick rebounds off Gastev's head. Goes out wide to right half forward. And the boundary line just a little too close there for Buckley and Barry Young. It goes over for a throw-in.
Now what the Bears have done, they've got Leppitsch in the back pocket. He's covering McQueen, who was Campbell's man. Fabian Francis gone on to the half-forward flank where Leppitsch came from.
Through goes Merrett. Get out of the way when Big Roger's in town. There's Francis getting the hand pass to Fletcher, into BAIN. BAIN right in front and closes the gap to 25 metres and hits the post.
Should have drilled it. He took plenty of time to steady. In fact, he might have gone just that little bit too far with the ball, David BAIN. There's no pressure on at all. There's Francis, who's just come off the bench. He comes from Darwin, played a couple of games at Melbourne. Didn't like it down here in Melbourne. Went back up and then was drafted by the Bears.
Here's Menegola, short of centre wing, just over half-back flank. Howard can't take the mark. Hernaman whips the hand pass away. Howard gets it back from Lees. John Howard going all the way. Terrific run from half-back to half-forward. Not a bad disposal to McQueen. Leppitsch the spoiler, and the umpire's going to ball it up. He dropped a pretty clear mark at centre half-forward, Justin Leppitsch, about 3 or 4 minutes ago, and I think moved. Difficult job, centre half-forward in your second game.
And 17 or 18 years of age. It's a big ask.
Ruck contest. Kennedy bashes it towards the boundary line. Richmond force it in towards the front of the goals. Turner's hand pass. Leslie gathers it nicely and kicks blindly, but gets good distance back near the centre of the ground. Ball goes to the back. Chance now for Young. Looked to get the hand pass away and then elected to kick it high out towards the wing. The race is on here between Maxfield and Voss. Voss, good tackle. Hand pass effective because Lees was there to give him a bit of a hand up towards right half forward. Punched away. Here's Knights. Hand pass gives away a bit of yardage. In comes Buckley. Buckley struggling to get possessions. Keeps the ball in. Chance for Leslie. Jackson a hand pass along the boundary line for Lambert. And Craig Lambert takes it over and he's very, very annoyed that the umpire could not see fit to award him a free kick.
I think a few of the members might have heard that one.
Boundary throw in. Schaefer. Taken by Fletcher. Oh! He's got to be throwing it.
Oh, has it? But he got his foot to it.
Well, he had a fair amount of time and a little slow. Naish takes the free kick in short and a good mark taken by Leslie. Away he goes, backs himself, goes to Leppitsch. Leppitsch's hand pass, just a little short for Green, but he's got plenty of time. Green's kick, up to the centre of the ground. Here's a chance now for Champion. Couldn't gather it. Through comes Fletcher, very creative. Kennedy, straight towards goal, and there's a mark taken, no. Merrett drops it. Murphy, handball, BAIN held by Young. Come on, umpire, what was wrong with that? Down goes David BAIN. Merrett's into the action. Still the ball to be won. Here's a chance for Ashcroft. A snapshot by Ashcroft goes close to the line and it's out of bounds in the left forward pocket for Brisbane.
Didn't control the ball, did he, David BAIN? He's being retarded. Here he is on screen, the little fellow.
Another chance for the Bears here. They haven't kicked a goal in this quarter and Richmond have kicked 2.
Scott Turner coming off.
Francis held. Has a snap for goal. Can't get it through the forest of legs. And eventually Richmond clear through Howard up towards centre wing. Leppitsch charging at it. McQueen with him. He went in pretty hard that time too. 3. Leppitsch kept on going for the tackle. Hernaman. This game being played at terrific pace like last Friday night, Footscray and Collingwood. And that ball along the ground out of bounds will have a throw in.
Bremen's come on for Scott Turner. Bremen's gone to the half-forward flank. He's been picked up by Ashley Green.
John Howard's had a few runs. He's had a couple of longer runs than Dennis Lilly ever had here. Schaefer, 24, doing well in the ruck. That was Chapman getting it out. Here's Noonan, goes to ground. It comes back to him. Ashcroft it was. Ball on the ground. The umpire will ball it up. So I might have a third guess. That was Fletcher, who's doing pretty well. And had 9 possessions in the first quarter. And Adrian Fletcher's now up to 13. Interesting, he played just 1 season at St Kilda after going from Geelong and played in their finals last year.
I think he's an excellent ball getter, but just a fraction slow. Gastev, he's going nowhere. Dragged off the football and penalised for not moving it at his first opportunity, the free kick to Tony Free. Tony Free with the job on Nathan Buckley. He's kicking short, and the mark is taken there for the Bears by Noonan. Noonan gives it off. Leslie, in turn for Leppitsch. Leppitsch, blindly, up near the wing. Champion can't take the mark. Through comes Howard, doing a good job across the half-back line. And a nice little pass for Naish. You can see the strapping around his right thigh. Suffered a heavy knock in the first turn. Poor kick. Leslie couldn't take the mark. Hogg smothered. Much Jeff Hogg could do there. And the umpire, it's not Hogg, it's McQueen actually, at the bottom of the pack. And the umpire will bounce it.
I wonder if John Gastiff's got a broken nose, because he's been holding his nose. Blood's been running from it.
How many times has it been broken?
Lambert for Gastiff. And Lambert and Hart. Still Lambert having plenty to say. Very good competitor, Craig Lambert.
Hogg's been kept pretty well out of it since McIver went back there. Here's Jackson. Free off the left boot. Hogg in the action now. And he gets a goal.
There's a free kick.
It might be a goal anyway. Hogg gets his third. And the Tigers with a bit of a break now. And they lead by those 3 goals.
Well, the Bears just haven't kicked on in this the third quarter. They did well to get back into the game. Maybe a push in there by Jackson. But here's the free kick. You'll see it too high on Hogg. See that? Leslie getting him too high. But he still manages to get his foot to the ball.
So 3 goals, the advantage for the Tigers. Schaefer doing a great job in the ruck. Gastiff dispossessed. Through comes Buckley. Gets his left foot to it, but there's no one down there for the Bears. Howard kicks it off the ground. Chance for Francis. Down he goes. Brian Lee's there for Richmond. And the boundary throw will take place.
It's an interesting setup, and when they bounce the ball down in the centre, what Brisbane do, they haven't got a centre half forward. Their 2 flankers are wide on the boundary. They've got 2 guys in the square, the goal square, so they hope to run the ball straight through centre half forward unimpeded.
Well, great hand pass by Lambert for Bremen. Bremen's kick to centre half forward. Bears under a little bit of pressure back there. McIver and Jeff Hogg. And it goes over for a throw-in.
8.5 minutes to go to half-time. And Richmond lead 54 to 36. The Bears have managed just 2 behinds in this quarter, after they kicked the last 4 goals of the first quarter. Kick by Leslie, smothered out of bounds. Throw in. Campbell, he was right up there in possessions for the competition last year. Well, McQueen with a big leap over the back. Gains a few metres, out of bounds again. Well, a victory here tonight, so important to both these 2 teams. Richmond need to regain some credibility after that shocker last week against Adelaide. And the Brisbane Bears have had some raps from a lot of people this year and went pretty close against North last week. Jackson, offline for a behind. Steve Jackson, 1 goal 1. Ex-West Coast Eagle. Players have come to these 2 teams from all over the country. It'd be hard to name a state that's not represented.
Good kick in by McIver, finds Gastiff. Gastiff goes back to McIver, straight down the ground. In short, no mark taken. Chance there for Howard. Dispossessed by Champion. Little kick into the path of Buckley. Unselfishly for Fletcher. And Fletcher kicks a goal for the Bears.
Play of the night by Champion.
But also, I just thought that, you know, after that play, would it get rewarded, because that ball looked as if it was going off the side of Fletcher's boot. It was a good build-up by the Bears. They got rewarded. And watch this build-up. They had numbers there. There's Champion again, just pushing it on. Quick hand pass. Really, as you can see there, not a really deliberate kick for goal. Or deliberate kick, but execution a little poor, but still it found its mark. Adrian Fletcher's first.
It took the Bears 21 minutes to get their first goal in this second quarter. A bit slow to start in the first quarter too. So beware the Bears late in the turn. Free kick in the middle. Kennedy, a long kick to full forward. Ashcroft, ball held to him. Players came from everywhere. You could throw a blanket over 25 players and it'd be a baller. It's about 35 metres from goal. Bears in attack. Margin 13 points. The Tigers in front. Lewis goes back to Howard. Howard's kick towards half-back flank. Campbell, run down by Noonan. Knights, we read that beautifully. High ball to half-forward. McQueen up again. No mark this time. Well, he won it at ground level. Knights in there again with BAIN. Knights applying the tackle. Thump towards the boundary line, out of play. Throw in.
You mentioned Knights gather, but gee, it wasn't a bad kick by Campbell under a little bit of pressure either, close to the boundary line. Jackson doing the ruck work. Ball comes to the back. BAIN striving.
No, he's holding the Richmond player.
He held on to the Richmond player, who is Hernaman, and Hernaman will take the free kick. His kick towards full forward. Hogg, McIver over the top. Is that interference?
Yes.
Yes, says Don Scott. Ball rebounds towards the 50-metre line. Bears get out of trouble. Francis must gather this. He taps it to his own advantage, and then a little kick to the half-forward area, but it's a poor one. Menegola, his short kick is okay. It's marked by Naish. Green, the man on the mark. Come back, says umpire Mitchell, and Chris Naish kicks it up near the half-forward line for Richmond. Excellent mark taken by Jackson in front of Leslie.
5 minutes to half-time. Tigers by 13 points. Kick by Jackson for Hogg. Well, McIver was a bit late and gave him everything.
Well, you know, give away a free kick then, Scott McIver. But they're going to have to get the ruckman to drop back there, because it's really predictable what Richmond are doing. They're setting it up for Hogg, giving him plenty of space in which to lead. But if they drop someone in there, the Bears, namely the ruckman, to cut off Hogg. Watch this by... Oh, well, it really didn't make contact, did it?
I don't know, really. If you're good enough and you lead and you take the mark, you're entitled to be belted like that. And the ball goes through for a rush behind. That's the price you pay for being a star forward, I suppose. You don't want to finish up in...
Well, I certainly thought that there was a slight grounds there for a 50-metre penalty.
I did too.
Kick in has been marked by Voss. Hand passes along. Very creative for Leslie. Gastev. They get out of trouble. Well done. Green. Further on to Noonan. Noonan's now on the wing, and he kicks it in towards centre half forward. Marking contest. No one can take it. Young. Menegola out the back. Ashcroft. Hand pass really wasn't to Buckley's advantage, as Free has just worn him like an absolute tight-knitted glove, Tony Free, and he's been very disciplined in his performance so far in this game. Merrett doing the ruck work, comes to Campbell for Richmond. Little kick, not bad, but Hernaman left it behind. Noonan surely
took his eye off the ball then, Hernaman. Lucky to get the free kick. And
Hernaman takes the free kick for Richmond.
Tony Free, who was the tagger on Buckley, has had 14 possessions. Buckley's had 9. Big pack centre of the ground. BAIN. Crunched into by Knights, no whistle. Fletcher doing well in the clinches there. Leslie, high ball to centre half forward. Francis, with a bit of toe, Fabian Francis. Little left footer. On the bounce, Buckley. Back to the goal square. Merrett from behind interfering. Free kick to Bullis.
Very frustrating to play on Bullis. And David BAIN going off for Brisbane, and Campbell coming on.
Kick by Bullis. Chapman nearly took the mark. Murphy gets it out for Fletcher. Fletcher forced to kick blindly. Kicks to the goal front. Mark taken by Young in front of Francis.
I don't know why Campbell spent so much time on the bench. He's got height, he's got speed.
Yeah, not a bad player either, Matthew Campbell, when he does get a run on the ground. Kick goes near the wing. Knights takes it away beautifully off the pack. And with the left foot, kicks towards half forward. Leslie is there. Hand pass for Gastev. Gastev's kick. High, out near the wing. Good mark taken out there by Chapman.
See, that was well done by Leslie. He put on an arm, stopped it, then had composure to get it off with a handball.
Leppitsch a little slow. Champion in the back. The advantage is with the Bears. Fletcher away for Hart. Hart's left foot snap is offline and goes through for one behind. So the difference is 13 points in favour of Richmond, 8-8 to 6-7, close to half-time.
Well, it was high scoring in the first quarter. They kicked 5 goals each, but it's just 3 goals to 1 in this quarter, Richmond's favour. High ball to centre wing. Jackson just about gave it to McQueen. McQueen in after it again. The umpire will call it up.
It's an enjoyable game tonight. Although the scores 13 points in favour of Richmond, the Bears developed a new good style of football, very entertaining.
Kennedy, but blocked by Schaefer. There's Fletcher again. Jackson, Lambert, terrific with his hands, Craig Lambert. Hernaman, 65 metres out. Short pass is good for Hogg, and this time McIver couldn't hit him with a ladder. Worried about the angle. He'll be kicking from about 45, 47 metres. He's kicked 10 on this ground against Collingwood. Just go for it, son. Kick your 4th. Richmond skipper Jeff Hogg. Terrific kick. Well, that's really doing the business. He's had 4 marks now for 7 kicks and 4 goals.
What a magnificent kick for goal. I mentioned to you earlier in the first quarter how he can kick a ball. This is just a fantastic kick from the angle. Very, very acute angle. Reminiscent of Michael Moncrief, who used to play at Hawthorn, used to kick in a similar fashion, head over the ball.
Well, the Bears get the ball clear through Leppitsch, out to left half forward, bouncing close to the line, and that should be a free kick, surely. That was proved by Francis on Young, but it won't be credited there to Barry Young. The siren has sounded, and it's half-time at the MCG. Richmond lead 9-8-62, Brisbane 6-7-43 in an entertaining clash between these two sides. Francis there for the Brisbane Bears. The leading goal scorer on the ground so far is Jeff Hogg, and he's done it pretty well too. He's kicked 4. There's Chris Naish, who kicked a beautiful goal with his left foot. The Tiger boys gathering near the race, waiting for the players to get together so they can go off the ground at half-time. And at half-time, Richmond lead 9-8, Brisbane 6-7.
Richmond 4 goals to 1 in that quarter to build up a lead of 19 points at half-time, 9-8-62 to the Bears 6 goals, 7-43. Jeff Hogg has kicked 2 goals in each quarter to be the leading goal scorer on the ground, and the leading goal scorer for Brisbane was Peos, who kicked their first 2 and since then has been missing, and maybe that's why Richmond only kicked 1 goal in that quarter. They've lost an avenue to attack.
Well, also they're not doing so well around midfield. I mean, the Bears, because they were doing well across midfield. Voss was doing particularly well, and they had smaller fellows in Noonan coming into the game, delivering the ball down. Champion was also doing well, and the wheels just fell off for them, Ian.
Yeah, I think the key has been the fact that Tony Free, we're just looking here at Jeff Hogg, who clearly took a mark on the 50-metre line. Scott McIver, in his endeavours to try and spoil, was rather crude. But I was just going to mention, while we look at the match stats, that Tony Free has done a terrific job on Nathan Buckley. And even though the Bears are getting the ball, they seem to be too forecastable, too predictable. And with Fletcher getting a lot of
mistakes that have come undone. I mean, their stupid handball, they're picking the wrong option or the wrong kick. That was evident in the first quarter, but they got away with it. But a couple of things in that quarter also brought them undone.
Yeah, the other thing there, hit-outs. Schaefer's absolutely slaughtered them in the centre bounces.
He's good, that boy, isn't he? He hasn't got much weight to him, but he's got a bit of height and is a real goer. Michael Schaefer from South Australia. Well, the season is only just a couple of weeks old. This is the start of round 2, but it's been a long pre-season. We started Foster's Cup, of course, way back in February, a long time ago, but pre-season for the players started well before Christmas. Stephen Phillips takes a look.
It might not have had the same impact as fire walking, but as a pre-season preparation, Terry Wheeler's decision to take his Footscray players skydiving won the 1993 award for novelty. At least he provided his men with the murky depths of Port Phillip Bay as a soft landing zone. The man behind the fire-walking fiasco of '92, Graham Corns, took his Adelaide Crows to Rapid Bay for their toughening up, and one can only hope that truck pulling will earn premiership points. On to the Foster's Cup, and because of the shifting surface at Waverley Park, it was decided to shift a number of the fixtures. One such move saw North Melbourne go to Adelaide, and in one of the most lopsided games in the Cup's 16-year history, the Roos were battered by 147 points. The whole structure of the AFL was put under the microscope by an independent consultant, David Crawford. He pushed for an extended commission in his report. He also pushed for a part-time chairman, and present boss Ross Oakley retained as executive chairman. The cameras returned to the AFL headquarters for the March draft. Richard Osborne, the talented but disgruntled Lion, was snapped up by Sydney as the #1 pick. The Swans getting some relief for the loss of Barry Mitchell and Ben Doolan. Mitchell was quickly tagged the $1 million man as Collingwood agreed to pay him over $200,000 a year for the next 5 years, while Doolan went to Essendon as pick number 20. The biggest shock came with selection 12, the Bombers stunning everyone by naming former captain Tim Watson. Watson had spent a year on television with us and making cameo appearances with others. The lure of the liniment proved too much. Investigations will continue into the reluctance of Brett Chalmers and Nathan Buckley to take part in the draft. Buckley relented and went to Brisbane despite Collingwood's overtures. Chalmers was tied to Richmond, but when it became obvious that he had no intention of joining the Tigers, he was released to the open draft and ended up at Collingwood. Football returned to Waverley Park, Paul Salmon crashing out of the early part of the season with a shoulder injury after displaying awesome form. And talking of awesome, that was the only word to describe the record crowd of 75,000 who packed the park on a balmy Saturday night to see Richmond meet 3-time night premiers Essendon in the grand final. A great match, and the Bombers made it again by 23 points.
Well, it certainly has been some pre-season. And Terry Digby, one of our producers, who puts together a show for the end of the year called That Was the Season That Was, he's got about 3.5 hours of videotape, and that was before the first ball was bounced to start the season proper. He's really got some work to cut that back to a manageable hour and a half or so. Now, let's go out to the break with the song of football in '93.
Gentlemen, please.
135 football seasons ago, 4 sportsmen decided to change the name of the game.
So,
you've got the posts.
Between the posts, a goal.
Why can't we use our hands to
mark the ball?
What about these posts?
Stick up 2 sticks in the goal. We'll put the emphasis on kicking.
It's the name of the game.
Why outside? Why can't we pass forward?
The name of the game.
Keeps the game flowing.
What do we call it?
The name of the game.
What will will anybody bother turning up?
The name of the game is Australia.
Darwin has had quite an influence on the AFL. We've had Fabian Francis playing here tonight for the Brisbane Bears, and of course Maurice Rioli was a great Tiger champion and won a Norm Smith medal for best in a grand final. Well, Darwin plays its footy season in the wet. They've just had their grand final. Peter Adamson reports.
Until the grand final, the 1992-93 footy season in the top end had gone the way of recent years. St Mary's, the defending premiers in the green and gold, were odds-on favourites to retain their crown. They'd lost only one game all season. That was against Waratahs. It included a guest appearance from that mad man of football, Mark Jackson. He hasn't changed a bit, except these days he packs a few extra kilos around the middle. The grand final started in a predictable manner, with Saints racing to a 4-goal lead at the first change. When these two teams met 3 weeks earlier, Saints handed Wanderers a 20-goal thrashing, and this game appeared to be heading the same way. But in the second quarter, things began to change. Wanderers finally found their feet, and by the main break, they were a point in front. Still, there were many who doubted whether the challengers could keep it up for another 2 quarters. Saints did their best to see they didn't, but at the last change, Wanderers had increased the margin to lead by 7 points. But could Wanderers manage another quarter? After all, Saints had won 8 of the last 9 grand finals and often coasted before storming home. But midway through the final term, even the staunchest Saints supporter could see the game was definitely slipping away from them. Wanderers were now in total control. Their opponents were reduced to helpless spectators, booting just 3 goals in the last 3 terms. What had been a slim lead going into the last term had blown out to 5 goals, and there was still 10 minutes left. The remaining minutes just gave Wanderers more time to pull in strong marks and boot more goals to make it 8 majors for the quarter. At the final siren, Wanderers had almost doubled their opponent's score. The win means there'll be new life in the competition when footballers in Australia's top end pull on their boots again in 6 months.
Well, I've seen a couple of games up in Darwin, and the local footy up there really is fantastic. But then I did see a Foster's Cup game up there last year, and we all thought it was far too hot to be playing football. Well, it was too hot to be playing cricket or even be lying by the beach. But a great story there from Peter Adamson. At half-time here, the Tigers lead the Bears by 19 points. We'll be back soon. Back on the ground, about to start the second half, but firstly, here's Gerard Healy.
Well, I believe this game is very even around the ground, but the Tigers do lead comfortably on the scoreboard, and one of the reasons, of course, is that the Bears haven't got anybody taking a mark deep in their forward line. If you have a look at the stats of their big four players, Merrett, Murphy, Champion and Leppitsch, who have all filled the big spots up on their forward line, they haven't taken a mark between them, whereas down in the Tigers forward line, of course, they've got Hogg that's taken 4 and kicked 4 goals, and of course Jackson, who a little bit quiet, has still contributed 3 goals. Just having a look at Nathan Buckley, everybody's had a bit of a dip at him, so I might as well put my 2 bobs worth in. I think he just has to change his game a little bit. He's running into space, usually getting the kick as he would have, expecting to get it in South Australia, but being tagged, he's got to work towards the fall of the ball into the packs a little bit more. But it was very impressed with his courage there. He was steamrolled by McQueen, got up very quickly and back into the fray. A very good player in the making.
Okay, thanks, Gerard. Perfect conditions here on this Friday night.
Campbell on the half-forward line drew Brisbane.
Umpire Chris Mitchell starts us for the second half, and Schaefer wins the first hit out, but it's come straight to Kennedy. Well done by Howard.
Played well, Howard.
Well, John Northey knew something about him at Melbourne, and he made the switch with the coach. And he's going for his 3rd long run of the night up to centre wing. The kick wobbles off the boot, but it's all right for Hernaman, who was playing in front. Ex-South Fremantle player. Came over in the off-season. The kick is off target to centre half forward. And the mark's taken by Voss. And this youngster looks to have a terrific career ahead of him. Gets the hand pass out wide to Nathan Chapman, another youngster. High ball to full forward. Chance for Merrett. Almost. Whoops. Champion a bit loose then on free.
Tony Free in the left back pocket for the Tigers. Short kick is okay. The mark is taken by Bullis. Everzelis was green in minding the mark. The kick goes close to the wing. No mark taken. Little tap on by Jackson for Lambert. Kick off the ground by Fletcher. Gather by Campbell. He wasn't quite loose. And Matthew Knights, then Campbell, and Richmond out of trouble on this centre wing. Young looking to draw a player. Handball over the top, it's broken down. Young recovers well, 50 metres from goal, kicks to the front of the goals, well done, because Schaefer has taken the mark right in front of goal. 2 players down behind.
And 2 players are down, as Ian said. There they are, they clash. One is Jackson,
the other's Chapman.
The other is Chapman.
And that time McIver was penalised 50 metres. He might have been earlier on with Hogg.
Chapman's up. Well, Jackson's still down.
Schaefer kicks the goal for Richmond. And the Tigers extend their lead in the early part of this 3rd quarter. 10-8 to 6-7. And the stretcher coming out for Stevan Jackson, who looks very, very groggy. Oh, a very severe clash of heads.
Let's just see his eye. Left eye, he's got a mouse.
Cheekbone damage.
Here it is again, another angle. You can see there, clash of heads. But Jackson's up, he's all right, and so is Chapman, so that's good to see.
Gee, you never like to see that. Well, a bit of a break now for the Tigers. Lambert, another hand pass. MAXFIELD, or is that a throw? Bremen in between wing and half forward. Leppitsch had the chance to take the mark but couldn't quite. Noonan fires out a little hand pass. Kennedy goes back to Ashcroft. Straight up to centre half forward. Campbell from behind. Howard doing well again. Goes backwards. This could be dangerous. Trouble here. BAIN gets in there. Champion a chance. Umpires put the whistle away. Says, fight it out, boys. Champion burst through, but just then the whistle went. And he gave Free a little one then. Free is never too far away from the niggly bits in a game of footy.
He's aggro, isn't he? Angry little man.
Yes, but he's doing a good job tonight. Just shutting Nathan Buckley out. Fletcher falls over. Murphy in there for the Bears. Gets it clear. Voss somehow got his foot to the ball, but it's not all that good there by Michael Voss, and it's out of bounds on the full. Free kick to be taken back there by Young. Barry Young. High kick. Out towards half-back. Voss. At the back, Fletcher. Caught with a football. Leppitsch. No. Taken by McQueen. He can't break clear. Noonan there. Still McQueen for Richmond, but the umpire calls for a bounce. Pretty fierce-looking competitor is Mark McQueen. Kennedy doing the ruck work. Taken by BAIN. Held. Was a Richmond player.
Richmond hit.
And Knights will take it for the Tigers. Right half-back flank, Matthew Knights. Kick number 8. Leppitsch in front. Gets underneath it. And a ticky touch with free kick there, I thought. Going to Leppitsch. Handball away for Gastev. In turn for Fletcher. Fletcher with no one really to kick it to, so he drops it in short. The mark is taken by Ashcroft. He goes further afield. It's Chapman, who's recovered quite nicely from that heavy knock. That's in the back, surely, against Matthew Campbell. Undisciplined play, because it's going to go straight back to where it came from.
Well, he's been behind on the 3 occasions come down, Campbell. He's got to get in front of Howard.
Oh, good mark taken by Kennedy.
In actual fact, they've taken him off the ground now. I would too. And Fabian Francis come back on.
Kick by Kennedy. Big pack. Needs a rover at the back. First and second touch, John Howard. Well, he's taken 5 marks, and that's 18 disposals for Howard. That is some game on the half-back line. Hand pass is shot through to Maxfield. Reasonably quiet, 7 possessions.
Jackson's coming off too for Richmond, Drew. Steven Jackson.
Might have a depressed fracture of the cheekbone. Wouldn't be surprised. Hernaman did well. Backhanded out to Leslie. Close to the boundary line. Ball is kept in. And now out of bounds just inside the 50.
And Simon Eishold's coming on for his first run. Simon Eishold made a name for himself at Melbourne as a centre ruck rover player.
In the left forward pocket for Richmond, number 40 for the Brisbane Bears, with a different jumper on in the second half, is John Gastev, as we see Jackson being examined on the interchange bench by the medical staff. Kennedy high, Ashcroft, and Fletcher bundled over by McQueen, and boundary throw-in will take place.
He's had a rough start to the season, Steven Jackson. Reported and suspended in the Foster's Cup and now injured. Jared Healy.
Yes, a bit of a mouse under the left eye, fair bit of swelling there. They're checking him for a broken nose, but obviously got a little bit of concussion and may not come back onto the ground.
Well, the margin at the moment is 25 points in favour of the Tigers. Bears have scored just 1 goal since the first quarter. Ashcroft hanging on. There's Gastev, number 40. If you pay your money and you look down the list, you'll see that Steve McCluckey is supposed to be 40, but there's no mistaking John Gastev for anybody else, Donald. Would you like to describe that look?
I wouldn't mind betting he's got a broken nose too, because he's still wiping that nose. He hit it in the second quarter, or got a blood just has been pouring out of it. That's why he's changed his jumper.
There's Eisholt in the action, just about to get rid of the hand pass when Francis, who might have played his 1 game for Melbourne when Eisholt was there, smothered it off the hand.
So on the point of the square in Richmond's attacking half, the umpire bounces, taken away by Leslie, then kicked away by Noonan close to the boundary line. It goes over for another boundary throw-in. The Bears really struggling. They kicked 5 goals in the first quarter. and they're only up to 6 goals, and we're well into the 3rd term. So their forward line not producing anywhere near as much as it did last week. Kick off the ground by Lees, up to centre-half forward region. Leslie, strong, can't get rid of the football. And some good work in there by McQueen, was it?
Well disguised by Leslie, because he wanted his intention was to hold up play. He did that. Did it well.
And it wasn't a bad kick by Lees, it was the Torp soccer.
Well, that's the new kick, I guess. There he is again, Brian Lees. Hand pass smothered by Gastiff, but he gets it away to Naish. Naish gives away ground, but gets it to Schaefer. Schaefer, a very likely looking customer, up towards full forward. Oh, is that a free kick for Hogg? Gee whiz, the Richmond fans are screaming as Jeff Hogg looks nonplussed at the umpire. One holding at the back, push him in the back, down he goes, no free kick. Kennedy, Hart, Gastev bumped off the football by Campbell. In goes Noonan. Ball rebounds towards Gastev and Aishold. Gastev's tackle may be a little high on Aishold, but the umpire will bounce about 45 metres from the Richmond goal. Tiger fans not too happy with a few decisions in this 3rd term. They lead on the scoreboard with the free kicks 27 to 16, and they lead on the real scoreboard too, 68 to 43.
And the hit-outs are 30 to 11. Schaefer doing a fantastic job. Kick from the outside of the boot. McQueen almost. Leppitsch with him, and the ball goes out of play. Mark McQueen, who came to the Tigers from Tasmania. So they're well represented from around Australia, as are the Bears. Palmed out to Leppitsch. His kick towards the 50, taken by Knights, who beats Ashcroft. His kick back to the goal square. Bears have the numbers. Swamped again is the Tiger forward. Listen to the Tigers fans. No free kick. It goes down as a behind.
They're not happy. The troops at the back of the left-hand goal, the Richmond supporters. McIver kicks in. McQueen can't mark. Kicked away by Kennedy. Goes to Maxfield. Looking to play on. He's a thumping kick off the left foot, and this is no exception. Into the square nearly. McIver got rid of by Hogg. Lambert a little touch for Aishold. Aishold snapshot. Oh, just misses to the left-hand side. Plenty of anxiety for the Bears as Richmond extend their lead to 27 points.
Well, what would a night at the footy be if you couldn't yell at the umpies? You're in front on the scoreboard, have a good yell. Hogg may have been hardly done by there. Ashcroft burst through the pack at centre-half back. The ball up to half-forward. Bears have the numbers here. Well done by Buckley to get it to Champion. Champion from 25 metres goals.
Well, that was Nathan Buckley setting it up for Champion. The two South Australians combining. They're not out of it, although there's a 21-point difference. Could quite easily get back into this game. The Bears, they haven't got too many players going at the moment. Here's Buckley pushing it on. Champion running onto it. Good kick by Champion. Straight through the centre.
Well, Richard Champion kicks the first goal for the Bears in the second half, and it was a badly needed one. They trailed by 27 points. Now they trail by 21. An important possession there by Free. Kicks it towards centre-half forward. No mark taken by Hart. In comes Aishold. Away for Naish. Naish loves these. But this time, not quite accurate. And through for one behind. He's kicked 1 goal 1. And obviously playing with a restriction with his right thigh heavily bandaged. Scott McIver to kick it back into play. And he goes pretty well straight up the ground. Kicks it well outside 50 metres. To Richmond mark. Is that Schaefer? I'll tell you what, he shows a lot of promise. Short kick. And nearly Leslie there. Aishold. I agree with you. Gee whiz, what have you got to do?
Well, if I was a Richmond fan, I'd be going horse at the moment too.
Have another look, Don.
Oh, held it for a week.
Hernaman, was it? Yes. And the umpire bounces at left half forward for the Tigers. Fletcher caught, gets the hand pass away. Naish, handball for free. His kick, chopped out by Leslie. And they're between the fullback position and the half-back flank. Leslie comes to this near side with a lovely long kick.
Big pack gathers. Punch forward by Howard, grabbed by Knights. He breaks one tackle. Matthew Knights, terrific when he runs. One out contest. Hogg from behind. What a mark!
There's nothing you can do when you're in Scott McIver's position. Maybe go back harder, chip the fellow up, but he had to sit then, Jeff Hogg.
Well, that was the passage of the night. The punch down, the roving by Knights, the pass on the mark, and has to be a goal. 5 to Hogg. So now their jeers turn to cheers.
And he has done well. Watch this passage of play from behind. That was Howard. Had enough pace to come back onto his left foot. That's his dominant foot. Knights, and there's the big fly from behind. Eyes on the ball by McIver, but the knee into the back by Hogg.
So Jeff Hogg's 5th goal, Richmond's 11th. The difference is 28 points. BAIN leaves it behind, goes after it again. There is Scott. Kick smothered. Gastev. Or attempted kick off the ground by Kennedy. Campbell takes it for Richmond. Kicking in danger, so Campbell will kick the Tigers back into attack. He's on the defensive side of the centre. Kicks it high, in towards centre half forward. McQueen, now Knights. He'll dob this. Great kick, Knights. Very, very talented player, Matthew Knights. Probably a little quiet in the first half, but he's had 2 telling possessions in the last few minutes. With 16 possessions, kicks his 2nd goal.
Well, you can see there Ashcroft has had the eye on him just before he made the move, though. Knights was off. You can see Ashcroft lining him up. But he's just got to stick a little closer, Ashcroft. You see there a little bit of aggro.
83 to 49 is getting out of hand a little bit here for the Bears. Ashcroft, the hand pass to Champion. High ball to centre half forward. Who is it? Johnny Howard again. What a game he has played. Schaefer's been great in the ruck, and Howard at halfback. And Hogg, of course, with 5 goals. Ball, they say. Nothing doing, says the umpire. Give it to me, and he'll ball it up. 11 and a half minutes to 3/4 time. Biggest lead of the night. Richmond 12-11 to Brisbane 7-7. Ruckman charge at each other. Schaefer does it comfortably again. Kennedy goes off the ground. Francis, great little hand pass. Fletcher further afield. Voss, pass on the bounce. Trouble for Merrett. His hand pass is intercepted by Free. It was meant for Buckley. A race on. BAIN and MAXFIELD. Couple of goes. Well done, MAXFIELD.
Yes, I concur wholeheartedly there. MAXFIELD started level with BAIN, outran into the ball and kicked it over for a boundary throw-in. Just behind the wing in the Bears forward half is Kennedy and Schaefer. Schaefer's done very well in the knockout stakes as Fletcher held up there by Lees.
He's had 14 possessions as well, so he's played a big game.
My word. There's Fletcher.
Just they've still got problems with his nose.
Fletcher with 20 possessions.
Which particular problem?
Oh, here go the Tigers again. Lees, a clean possession. And McQueen is marked well within scoring distance. No one in the goal square. Now Hogg gets back, but McQueen on shore will have a shot for goal from this position.
Well, he definitely should score. Accuracy is the big question. Now there's 50 metres. Now that was
it's against
Gastev on Naish.
Well, it's a certain goal now. There may be some doubt about it from where McQueen was about to take the kick, but now he won't miss. McQueen's second goal, and Richmond with a very, very handy advantage now. They're 13-11 and the Bears 7-7.
Well, there's the offender in screen. John Gastev, he gave away the 50-metre penalty, an act of frustration on the side towards Chris Naish as McQueen had the ball, hence the 50-metre penalty. An easy goal.
Four goals to 1 this quarter, and since quarter time it has been 8 goals to 2. .40 lead to the Tigers. Well, they were beaten by 94 points here 5 days ago, so it's some comeback. Voss, it eventually comes out. Francis helps it further afield. It spills out now. Howard again. Not a great hand pass this time. Murphy's hardly been sighted since he came on. Don't think he's had a kick yet. He's had 3 hand passes. That's all we've given him.
Robert Walls wasn't too happy, Drew, at half-time. You see when he came back to address the players as he's walking back to his coach's bench, and he was very, very angry. I think he'd be angrier now after this effort in the third quarter. Some undisciplined play by some of his players.
Voss ran out of room. And there's little Tony Free and big Roger Merrett. And between them, they've had plenty of visits on a Monday night.
Gastev tries to get the ball clear. He does. Buckley fumbles, but he's able to gather, and his hooked kick is close to the line. No mark taken back there by Murphy, and it goes through for a behind to the Bears. Well, they badly need goals. There's Nathan Buckley. He's been a little quiet, 8 kicks and 3 hand passes, and most of the kicks that he's had have been under a fair amount of pressure from a little tiger by the name of Tony Free. Menegola kicks in. And it's a nice kick too. Again, well outside 50. Naish runs onto it. Gastev the tackler. Naish gets his kick away. And a boundary throw will take place. Gastev telling the umpire that there wasn't much in that, obviously. So the boundary umpire will throw it in. Ruckman converge. Fletcher is the Bears player at the bottom of all that.
Maybe a problem with the Bears is that their on-ballers are fairly negative. You've got Ashcroft who's picking up Knights, Gastev is picking up Naish. Maybe they should be getting some drive from those fellows. They're more concerned with their man than the ball. And also Hart is picking up Lambert.
And there is Hart applying the tackle on that very player. And the ball goes out of play. And in each contest, you would have to say the Richmond man would be in front. Lambert's been held to 14 possessions, but haven't seen too much of Hart tonight. Big pack here. Gastev short of the goal square. Look at that ball break. Francis! He goes in after it, spills out to Merrett. Desperation, and the Tigers come out of it. Lees, Bremen, and the ball out of play. Well, it looked a certain goal, but now it's 30 metres away.
Well, obviously the ball not bouncing all that kindly for Francis, who looked as though he was going to run into an open goal. And poor old Roger Merrett couldn't even get his foot to it. Here's a chance for Fletcher. Fletcher's shot for goal. A tumbling punt kick into the pocket. Taken over by Scott. And it will be thrown in the left forward pocket for the Bears. And they trail miserably on the scoreboard. Richmond are 13-11. The Bears are 7-8. Merrett doing the ruck work with Schaefer. Bullis has got it, dispossessed, still in the left forward pocket for the Bears as Menegola is helped over by Fletcher, and another throw-in will take place. Badly need a goal, 6 3/4 minutes left in this third term. Down goes Chapman. In amongst all that is BAIN. Now Gastev and Young struggle for possession, and another throw-in. They're 20 metres around from the Bears' goal. Barry Young there in the picture, a rugged customer for the Tigers. Schaefer, number 24 at the back. Over the top was Howard. Hart leaves it. Richmond outnumber. Lambert caught by Gastev. Chance for Voss. Away for Champion. Champion's shot for goal is out of bounds on the full. And eventually we'll get the ball out of that left forward pocket for the Brisbane Bears through a free kick to Richmond to be taken back there by Schaefer.
Now there's a fight on between, is it Howard or Bullis and Merrett?
Schaefer's kick covers a lot of territory. Scott round the boundary line up towards centre wing. Campbell palms the ball in beautifully. Lee's on the run. Is passed to the 50-metre line. It's tipped on. Whistle, free kick for Hogg. He was taken out of the contest. He was entitled to sprint up for that ball towards the goal square, but was held back. And Hogg will be kicking for his 6th goal. About a 43-metre kick. Not his best. Off hands and through for a behind. Point you make is a good one, Don. Lambert and Hart. Lambert leads 14-4 in possessions. Knights and Ashcroft 16-11 for Knights, and Naish and Gastev are 11 each. But the Richmond smaller blokes are winning the ball.
Far more effective. The ball kicked into the centre of the ground. Bremen tries to tap it on. Here's Fletcher, forced to kick hurriedly up to left half forward. No mark taken. Kicked away by Menegola, and I think they look a pacier unit, Richmond. Murphy looking much slower in that race for the ball with Menegola. Boundary throw in on the players' interchange area. Fletcher, down it comes to Knights. Gets his kick away, but it's smothered there by Buckley and pushed over for another boundary throw in. There's Lambert and Knights, two of the key players for the Tigers in their efforts to win this game tonight.
Charging through, he's done that a few times, Brian Lees. Well done. Long kick as well. Gastev climbs. Can't mark. This could be dangerous. Campbell onto it. Couldn't quite gather. Flicks it on well. Hogg. So close. Got it behind to Hogg.
Well done by Campbell.
Jeff Hogg, 5 goals, 2.
Well, I think they're the sort of unselfish things that really add up when you have a good victory. You look back to see how many of those smaller things have been done during the night, and I'm sure it'll outnumber in Richmond's favour against the Bears. McIver's short kick, too short. Hogg, tap on. MAXFIELD, that's nearly deemed as a throw. Chance for Campbell, he's got the football.
There's a free kick back further. I think it's going Richmond's way against to Naish.
Well, you've picked it in one. The football with Chris Naish. He's kicked 1 goal. His 9th kick results in his 2nd goal. So Richmond widen the gap even further. 14-13, Brisbane 7-8.
Well, that's a second undisciplined one given away. Here's the free kick. Watch this. Naish. Yeah, a little high by McIver. An easy kick, as it turned out.
(97-50), and the free kicks are a bit alarming now. 31-16 in favour of Richmond. Just under 4 minutes to go to 3/4 time. Free kick here to the Bears, to be taken by Kennedy. They've kicked just 1 goal in each of the last 2 quarters, the Bears. Oh, it's a high climb. Could have been free kicked, Menegola. Bullis, the hand pass to Lambert. He gave it so quickly, MAXFIELD couldn't gather. Fletcher's hand pass to Voss on the 50. He tries to centre. Poor kick. And Howard again.
Drew, what they're doing so well, those Richmond fellows, on occasions, they did it on that occasion. When Campbell had the ball, he looked down for that hole in which they lead into, but the Richmond backs are getting down and blocking Merrett and Murphy.
Here's another free kick to the Bears.
They're nonplussed, the players.
Champion is now going down the back line. What are they going to put Champion? A full back. They're going to bring McIver up the ground, Brisbane.
Punch comes to the front. Lees had a good night. Bounces on the cricket pitch area. Schaefer after this one. Gastev beat him, ran into his own man, John Gastev. Beats the tackle of the opposition. Kick to full forward. And there's Howard again, no mark. Lambert dodges once. Caught by the second one. It's going Brisbane's way, but Campbell grabs it for Richmond. Up towards centre wing. Green up the ground with Bremen. Green leg, no whistle. Now Bremen a chance. Played cricket here for Western Australia on the MCG. Todd Bremen. Free. Breaks the tackle. Oh, terrific. Fantastic to Hernaman.
Hernaman's kick is made good by Hogg.
He's being held.
In a bit of trouble, is he? No, he's okay. Well, I'm sure he'll kick through this one. Here we see Hogg. And I would probably suggest that mark was paid, would you think, Don?
Could have been maybe the free kick, but I couldn't see much in it. And they're going to make a change. Schaefer's coming off for Richmond.
As Hogg kicks inaccurately.
It's a slow forward line Brisbane now have got. They've got Murphy, Scott McIver and Roger Merrett all on the forward line. It's like slow motion replay when they're running for the ball.
Well, I didn't see it last week, but how did Roger Merrett get 6 goals against North? He's champion.
McIver and Scott going at it.
Francis. Good turn of pace. Fabian Francis from Darwin. The hand foul. ASHCROFT, and he's back to it. It's grabbed by Knights, and they've turned it over at the centre of the ground. Here's Howard. The pass is terrific for Naish, and he marks 40 metres out.
He's doing it well, isn't he, John Howard?
Hogg's there. The crowd wanting him to kick a dozen. He applies a tackle. Campbell balks with the hand pass. Gets boot to ball. Out wide. Gastev, not popular with the local fans, and now he's popular because he's kicked out on the full.
Oh, poor old Johnny Gastev. Do it wrong, but do it up the other end of the ground where there are no fans. They're all down there in that front of where Gastev's kicked that ball, and they're really wrapped, the Tiger fans. MAXFIELD's kick to the front of the goal square. Oh, look at Howard. Really taken the mark of the night in the goal square.
He's playing half-back, or was playing half-back.
Wants to get into the goal-kicking action.
He's playing the game of his life.
He's had 15 kicks, 8 handballs, and 8 marks, nearly 9.
Yes, he's going down to half-back now, so that's good running because he's really putting the pressure on the smaller Fabian Francis.
Well, it's bashed through by the Bears' defence for a rush behind to Richmond. So they now lead by 49 points, 99 to 50, and the Bears have only kicked 2 goals since quarter time. Leslie takes the kick in, runs down half-back, kicks towards the half-forward area. McIver at the back, can't quite gather. He's caught, gets the handball away, he's tackled and will be penalised. It won't matter because it's 3/4 time as Scott, McIver and Menegola get into a little dust-up, but the umpire has signalled 3/4 time at the MCG. Richmond lead 14-15, Brisbane 7-8.
When Steve and I were looking for a new family car, safety was high on his priorities. I suppose we could have 2 miles a day. Not would be very difficult. A tenant of the expensive Europeans. When we were on the Commission England, he showed us a video of the kids in the Commission and he talked to us about his safety. And if we were expecting in Australia, we realised then that the lady who didn't have to come to the home was not just a beautiful looking car. Really quite a giant machine, but space and life we need. The best thing in the world is when you don't have to be wrong, give the car a real protection.
Something little smooth, crisp, clean didn't start for a couple of days. So what's so special about Foster Special?
this spice, exquisite gravy when encased in a golden pastry pie. Oh, boys, ready, Maestro. Coming right up. Oh, red bean. Oh, Johnny. Look like Dipper. No worries. All into it. The great Australian taste.
Before coming on the arena after the game. Thank you.
Come to New Caulfield Racecourse and put your finger on a winner playing Tamaré Pokies. For great entertainment and plenty of excitement, play Tamaré Pokies at the New Caulfield Racecourse, Station Street, Caulfield East. Open 7 days and all visitors and members welcome.
Well, looking at that, you'd wonder how Brisbane led at quarter time. There's no breeze here. Richmond 14-15-99. Brisbane 7-8-50. For Richmond, Hogg has kicked 5 goals, 3 to be the leading contributor. McQueen's got 2, Naish has 2. And for the Bears, still the leading goal scorer is Peos, who's played only about 7 minutes.
Today's game is part of the Carlton and United Breweries 1993 AFL Premiership season.
Sports World on Sunday with Bruce McAvaney at 9 o'clock down the East Coast with all general sport and, of course, an hour of the footy panel. Australian Touring Car Championship, round 3 at Phillip Island, and it's a place that Wayne Gardner knows pretty well. He's trying it in 4 wheels on Sunday. Jared Healy down on the boundary line. Jared?
Thanks, Drew. Well, 2 goals since quarter time. Hasn't been an inspiring performance by the Bears, but I'm sure coach Robert Walls would be looking to get something positive out of this last quarter. The Bears play Melbourne at the Gabba in their first game at their new home ground, and I say new because it's been redeveloped and it's exactly the same size as the MCG here, and they'll be looking to regroup in this quarter, perhaps even outscore the Tigers, and so they can take something home. They're a young side, they need plenty of enthusiasm, they're going to have their ups and downs. This is obviously a down. They must come up with something, regroup, and come up with a winning formula for next week.
Knights and Ashcroft. Well, did we see the start of it? Was it number 33 who threw the first one?
It's interesting, Drew, as we look at the stats here. Robert Walls addressing his players at 3/4 time. Had them in 3 different groups. He had the forwards, the midfield, I think, and obviously the backs. And as well as he addressing them individually, they were also discussing something amongst themselves at that 3/4 break. Different approach.
Well, the statistics, I think, are indicating just why the scoreboard is as it is. With Richmond 49 points in front, I think they've been far more productive with their possessions. And Schaefer has been terrific, I think, especially at the centre bounces.
There is young Schaefer.
So the last quarter about to start here in the match between Richmond and the Bears. And Richmond going into the last term with a very, very good advantage. Schaefer gets the tap out again. Buckley, not really an effective kick, but that was by Maxfield into the forward area. Hogg tries to tap it back to the advantage of Knights. His hand pass chopped off by Leppitsch. Leppitsch's kick nearly marked by Buckley, and maybe the umpire anticipating, and Buckley has it. He kicks it in the direction of Fletcher. He's a bit slow, but he gets his kick away into the full forward area, and a good mark taken by McIver out in front of Scott. And he runs on and kicks it straight towards goal. It's a good kick. It's close. It doesn't quite have the carry, and it's through for one behind. Well, what Jared said is very, very pertinent. But if you've got any pride in your performance, you don't need anybody to tell you that you've got to have a go in the last term.
Here's Bullis. Up towards or over centre wing. Noonan from behind. Scooped off the deck by Buckley. Spinning top near the boundary line. Merrett shreds back the hand pass to Noonan. He goes over the top. Take the ball, son.
That's exactly
Richmond are
right,
after the
Drew.
ball.
That's exactly right. You don't pat it on like that.
BAIN pulled off his kick by Campbell. Well done by Campbell. And the ball out of play.
Started on the wing now, ruck roving Campbell.
Why didn't David BAIN give a little hand pass there for Kennedy? Must have known he was going to get tackled. Kennedy working hard in the ruck. Francis hand pass. Murphy missed it altogether. Lambert sat on by Francis. And Lambert will take the free kick for Richmond at left half back. Not a lot of possessions for Craig Lambert, but
you say that Hart's done well then. Well, we haven't seen Hart figure it, but what did he have? He had nearly 30 possessions last week, Lambert.
He's had 15 so far tonight.
31 to be precise. 16 kicks, 15 handballs last week. Craig Lambert.
But he seems to be able to get the ball into positions where his teammates can benefit from it. Murphy, his kick, punched away from Hart. Murphy, not quite. Lambert there.
At least you called Murphy a kick. That's his first.
Yes. Well, he's having a quiet night.
He was a bloke who went and asked the Bears if he could get a game. They gave him one. Ball knocked down. Maxfield with plenty of toe. Oh, great. Taps the ball for Naish. Naish's pass looking for Hogg. Hogg got underneath it and the mark to Champion. Hogg's had about 3 different opponents. McIver was a Hogg stopper for a while. Now he's on the forward line. Noonan up over centre wing. Richmond punching when they're not in a position to mark. Knights, courageous hand pass. Menegola, Naish again, beats a man, approaches 50. Very high ball. He said to McQueen, we'll get up there and mark this. Well, he never got near the contest. Hogg, a good hand pass. Hernaman. And they've topped the ton, the Tigers. 105 to 51.
His first goal, Wayne Hernaman, been a useful player tonight. Interesting kick by Naish. It was a high ball. Watch this. Dodges. It was like a 9-iron chip. He's up high hoping. And Hogg sharing it with Hernaman.
Well, Richmond go marching on 15-15 to 7-9. Lambert gets the ball out of the centre. Kicks it into Lee's back. Green, dispossessed by Bremen. Kennedy, who's done very well for the Bears. He's probably their best player. And here's one of Richmond's really good players, Johnny Howard, marking safely on his chest at centre-half back. Kicks it high out towards the wing position. Good mark taken by McQueen. Starting to get a few more possessions. His kick, long. Gathered by Knights, very, very good. It was a steal. Maxfield, kick to the goal square. Oh, Lees is going to get it. No, he won't. He'll give it to Hernaman. Gets his second in a minute.
Oh, that is just unbelievable running by Lees. He'll run back to his position. He'll nearly need to be Herb Elliott to get back there. Is that far?
And the wheel's really now starting to fall off as far as Brisbane's concerned. Knights getting involved. Maxfield been a little bit down. Maxfield not showing what he did initially. And there's Lees running onto the ball, getting it across. And Hernaman, his second in a minute.
Well, Brian Lee's got that ball back into play, and he's run from the half-back flank to do that. That's a big run at the MCG. Schaefer out of the middle. Well, they got 10 goals against them last week in the last quarter. They might kick 10 themselves the way the Tigers are going. Naish takes it off the left boot. Oh, that's disappointing.
Should have done better than that with that Naish, because I watched him before when he turned on his left foot, and he's very good on that left-hand side of the body, and trying to stab that, it should have clipped it right through.
kick in taken by Champion, and he runs across the front of the square, kicks it out to the opposite wing where the marker's taken out there by Green. A little hand pass for Ashcroft, who's been pretty quiet. His kick up towards centre-half forward. Howard leaves it behind. McIver helps Murphy get the ball. Away to Francis. Francis, his kick is way offline and through for a behind. Well, they were 5 goals for at quarter time, the Bears, so they've only managed to kick 2 goals 6 in the rest of the game. Richmond were 5-3, so they've kicked 11 goals 13, and it's really been a one-way street in the 2 and a bit quarters since quarter time.
Ball knocked away from Young, out of bounds. There's Voss, who was a vote catcher last week. A good performance against North Melbourne in a losing side, but tonight not so impressive for him. 15 possessions. Merrett, one of his few kicks out.
He's playing. Obviously, no, Francis is playing on. I thought he was a loose man, but Fabian Francis is playing at half forward and Howard half back.
There's Green. Goes very wide for Fletcher. From 47 metres, should have kicked the goal.
And that is one of the reasons why I think Fletcher was let go from St Kilda. I think St Kilda look at the fact that they're going to participate in finals, and Adrian Fletcher's a great ball getter, but his kicking lets him down, just falls a little bit short, and also is not all that quick over the ground.
You must wonder, he's playing in his 3rd club in 3 seasons.
Well, Richmond are going to get clear. It's Menegola in the finish that kicks them well out of danger. Hernaman, now Howard, caught, should be penalised. Well, if you try to crash through and get caught...
He's having one of those nights, Ian.
He's got it again. Receiving from Bremen. Kick smothered. Chapman knocks the ball over for a boundary throw-in. Well, just my definition, Don, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you take on the tackler and the tackler retards you, I thought you were always there to be penalised.
Well, if you don't really make the effort. Yeah, it's a touch of arrogance, really, isn't it?
Well, the Bears now through Kennedy. A kick near centre-half forward, taken by Menegola, and he kicks it way out in front of himself, across the half-back line. Young will be first there. Menegola's shepherd was not too bad on Voss, and he goes and shepherds Murphy away. And that enables Young to kick the ball for McQueen. Richmond fans ecstatic over that passage of play. Into the full forward area. Hogg, Lambert over his head. Back for Eishold. Eishold's kick, and a free kick is going back
Lambert
on the 50-metre line to be taken by Lambert.
Too high.
Lambert is 50 metres out. We'll have
There's
another look.
Free kick.
Can you hand pass over your head, though? I know he was taken high. Was he going to get away with that hand pass?
Well, that's a questionable one, because you're saying was one hand still while the other one made contact with the punch. But it was a shocking tackle by Leslie. Lambert's kick is not bad. It's very, very close to the goal post. As a matter of fact, the goal umpire indicating there that it hit the post, so it's a behind to Richmond. They're 17th, and they now lead by 10 goals exactly. It's Turner on the boundary line, just limbering up as Maxfield could have nearly taken the mark. Fletcher gets it for the Bears. His kick bundling towards the boundary line and over in front of Young and Voss.
Under 17 minutes to go. Francis takes it over the line. Actually, one of the reasons that I thought that the Bears had a big chance here tonight, because Richmond only had 5 days to recover from that belting last week, and the Crows were tough. They hit them pretty hard. This is one of the greatest comebacks of all time. They'll convert a nearly 100-point belting to about a 60 or 70-point win.
Well, does that make the Crows about a 23-goal better side than the Bears?
Probably. Here's Bullis, playing in his second game. Schaefer. BAIN in front. Bullis at the back, couldn't take the mark. tidied up by Menegola. Very high ball here. Knocked out by Ashcroft, by Noonan. I suppose the more the ball is out, well, they're just reducing the damage, aren't they, the Bears? I suppose if the ball is in play for the rest of this game, Richmond could kick about 10 more.
There's Chris Naish in the picture. He's kicked 2 goals after a very heavy knock in the first quarter. Schaefer and Kennedy. Matthew Kennedy can hold his head high. His efforts have been quite good. He's had 16 kicks and 6 hand passes, 14 hit-outs, 5 marks. So number 41 there for the Bears.
McIver is at it with Bullis behind play.
And Gastev, handball into the path of Voss as we see Bullis. There's Menegola for the Tigers as the emergency umpire goes out to speak to Scott McIver.
When are they going to report somebody for wrestling? I thought that was the new thing.
On the score of wrestling, they've both got to go in.
Yeah.
Boundary throw in the left forward pocket for the Bears. Kennedy, but Lambert steals it. Lovely hand pass. Geez, productive.
How far is he allowed to run?
And that's exactly what the central umpire is indicating there. Travel in basketball terms. But certainly running too far was Maxfield. And the free kick will go to Green. His kick across the half-forward line. Punched away by Lees. Geez, a strong player. Fletcher for BAIN. BAIN, a high kick. Gee, we love that if we were playing at full forward. A bumbling kick towards full forward. Here's Murphy. Handball back for Leslie, who's up on the forward line. His kick close to the line and helped over by the Richmond defence for a rush behind of the Bears. 7-12. Brisbane, 16-17. Richmond.
Naish is coming off for Richmond. Chris Naish going off. Obviously give that leg a rest. Is Scott Turner about to come on, or are they going to get somebody else?
Well, Naish has kicked 6 goals in his first 2 games this season. Here's Nathan Buckley. And he's offline with his kick.
It's interesting, Naish's run to the fence or the boundary interchange line. Now he's going back on.
So he might be able to add to his 2 goals tonight. Lees. Oh, he's back behind his back now. Bremen. Half-back flank to the Tigers. Came off the interchange, Todd Bremen. Not very impressive stats so far. Lees goes back to Menegola.
We've got 2 runners, Richmond. That fellow in the black tracksuit, a trainer, is also acting as a runner.
Ashcroft to Leppitsch. Kick by Leppitsch. McIver. He's delivered a few tonight. Down goes Lambert. Umpire said the ball's held in there. And we'll ball it up. Free kicks are 38-20 in favour of Richmond. Scoring shots 33-20. And Richmond a mile in front.
Bounce of the ball between wing and right half forward for the Brisbane Bears. BAIN gather. Hand pass good, Ashcroft. Noonan in trouble. Handball further for Fletcher. His vision was excellent. Little kick was good for Leslie. Leslie's kick again. Sit underneath it, son, and be knocked over. But it was a terrific mark. It really was a great mark there in the finish. Taken by Merrett. Bullis not happy with the decision, but it looked pretty well a clean mark. Was it a steal? No. Yeah, it's a steal. Huh?
Yeah,
what did you think?
Merrett came a minute late.
Yep. Well, Merrett's got it. Shot for goal. It looks... No, it's offline. I think the Richmond fans are shouting, so Merrett scores a behind for the Bears. He's kicked 1 goal, 1.
At least he's getting a little bit more distance with his kicking, Roger Merrett.
And that was his first mark for the night, which we can now tell you was not a mark. Lees up towards half forward, and Leslie takes the mark for the Bears. Kick by Leslie, and he comes to Kennedy. drops a chest mark, leaves it for McQueen, who goes off the deck. Gastev, he's unpopular as well, caught the tackle. Leppitsch gets the hand pass away to Kennedy. Said plenty of it, Kennedy, up towards half forward.
Free
push out. McIver's done everything tonight. Off the left boot, up towards full forward. In front, Roger Merrett. That's a dead set mark.
Yeah, no question about that one. Well, that's what Jared mentioned at half-time. I think that they've just lacked that the ability of those big guys on the forward line to take the marks.
Well, will this be their third goal since quarter time? Yep.
Well, his second, Roger Merrett. Scott McIver getting it down. Scott McIver made his name as a ruck rover at Fitzroy, and since he's gone to the Bears, he really hasn't played as a ruck rover. He's got tremendous fitness. He can run all day. He doesn't use his hands like he used to, and that was a great saver because he's not over-endowed with pace, but he used his hands beautifully and won at best and fairest at Fitzroy. Get that back into a game, maybe he could last a little.
Well, that goal for the Brisbane Bears, kicked by Merrett, was, as Drew said, only their third goal since quarter time. Noonan kicks it in towards centre-half forward, no mark taken. Voss dispossessed, Bremen there. His hand pass, Young, beaten for it by Hart. Little kick, Kennedy, Noonan, again a short kick. Voss, pass in towards full forward. Merrett can't take the mark. Bashed back in the Voss direction. Bumped off the football. Johnny Howard didn't know where it went, but the umpires picked the free kick out, and it's going to the Bears to be taken by Merrett.
The frustration by Bullis. Threw Merrett to the ground when he didn't have the ball.
So Merrett, who kicked the last goal for Brisbane just a moment or so ago, has a chance to kick his third goal. Beautiful night here in Melbourne for football as Merrett comes in, kicks for goal and puts it through for a goal. So 3 goals to Big Roger. Just puts a little bit of respectability in the scoreline for Brisbane, 9-14. But Richmond bowling away with it, they're 16-17.
And they're making a change, Brisbane. Campbell about to come on. I think that might be, is that Chapman coming off?
Voss.
Or Voss. Voss coming off. Is he injured, Voss?
Michael Voss. Well, Naish is propping up in the forward pocket. We believe the reason he stayed on is there's nobody to replace him. He's fit. Knight's out of the middle. Champion charged at it, missed it. Hogg taps on. Eichhold buried. In the back, was it? No. The umpire will ball it up right in front of goal. 9 minutes left. So it's been a couple of times in the first couple of rounds where teams have had to play clearly unfit players because 2 interchanges haven't been enough. And now 3 coaches have spoken out about maybe a 4-man interchange bench. Might have some merit. There's free and was touched by... Yeah, was touched and through for a behind.
The trouble is, if they bring in 3 interchange, Drew, they use it as a tactical ploy and be changing fellows in and on and off the ground the whole time. The interchange initially was designed to get players off the ground who are injured, but coaches don't use it that way now. It's used as a game plan.
Well, it's one of the skills in coaching, eh? Bend it, twist it, and you use whatever you can.
Kick by MAXFIELD has been marked by Kennedy. Kennedy on the full back line, coming in for his 18th kick. Just wondering where to kick to, and then decides to go near the centre of the ground, nearly the mark to McIver. Taken there by Hart, left it behind. Fletcher dives on it, gives it to BAIN. BAIN's kick goes pretty well straight up in the air. Gastev a big punch. There a chance, McIver. Hand pass was okay. Campbell, fraction slow, but able to get it away for ASHCROFT. Noonan, 50 metres from goal, kicks rather blindly to the goal square. Murphy, still a chance. He's tripped, surely. Oh, gee, if we can see it, the umpire's 20 metres away. Knights runs away with the footy, and Richmond out of trouble.
Matthew Knights, a couple of best and fairest in the last 3 years, goes for a long run. He's kicked to half forward. Now Turner's clearly not fit. He's just on the ground to make up the numbers. High kick back to centre wing. Campbell over the top of Knights, should have taken the mark. Twice his height. Here goes Nathan Buckley. And McGarry Medwest, the youngster, playing his second AFL game. Merrett's had a purple patch. Just outside the 50. Naish, Young, it was a throw.
Oh, it's a free kick to Richmond.
Yes, I agree. He got it pretty high, Naish.
Looked like a little two-hander, a little chuck.
So the free kick is eventually handballed across to Scott. He in turn went to Lees, and Lambert has marked quite spectacularly on the right half forward flank region. Little kick is very good. Hogg a good lead, but a very good kick by Lambert. And Hogg has marked about 35 to 40 metres out. The angle very tight. He's kicked 5.
Good kick by Lambert. He's got another pair of pants under those long leggings, Jeffrey Hogg.
He's a good kick for goal. He's a very good kick for goal. 6 goals now. He's kicked 6 goals, 3 to my reckoning. So certainly a big difference in the side from this week to last week is this man here.
Getting away from Chapman. Beautiful kick for goal once again.
Back in the middle with 6 minutes to go. An agonising 6 minutes for the Bears. McIver gets one of his few kicks out of the middle. Taken by Menegola. Towards the outer side. Gap's opening up now. They've got about 16 fit players, Richmond, and still belting the Bears. Young. Up towards centre wing. Well, Turner's still climbing when he hasn't got the legs to do it. Gastev gave a little hand pass, and that was Green. Oh, good mark, man in front. Well done by Scott. Now, did he have a nightmare last week? And I reckon he's just woken up from the thrashing he got from Modra, but, well done 5 days later.
Young boy from Inverloch, Comwet. Through. Alistair Scott. He played football with his father, actually. So I'm dating myself a little bit as Lees kicks it across the centre of the ground, out towards this near side wing. Gathered by Eyechild was very good. He may have been a little fortunate, but at least he made it for himself. Kick to half forward. Taken away by Kennedy. Oh, what is that, Don? That's a throw, isn't it? No comment. Come on. Boundary throw in right half forward. Schaefer, Kennedy, Noonan, handball. Chapman bashes it forward. Goes to BAIN. Maxfield tackled him just as he got rid of the football. Bashed forward by Turner. On the end of it is Free. Free's kick to the front of the goals. Good mark taken by Champion. And he backs himself, runs on and kicks it in towards the centre of the ground. The mark is taken by McIver. Looking to play on quickly, which is a pretty good ploy. In towards full forward. Mark is taken well close to the ground by Merrett.
Now, we blamed the big fellows down there for not being able to take marks, but what about the way the ball's delivered into the forward line? Maybe it's smaller midfielders who've got to do a little bit more in delivering the ball. Well, they certainly haven't won it around there.
Do you give credit to the Richmond players for putting lots of pressure on?
Well, you've got to. And also, you see Richmond, when they deliver the ball, at least Hogg's got somewhere to move to, and they're delivering it pretty well.
Well, Merrett for his 4th goal runs close to the man on the mark, but it doesn't make any difference. He's got 4. So Big Roger. 4 goals out of 10.
He's kicked 3 in the last quarter, and his purple patch started with that daylight robbery, where he stole that mark.
From, I think it was young Voss that did the good work in backing back into the pack, but here we see Merrett marking.
And here's Merrett, who really does make the most of everything. He hasn't had too many shots for goal, but he certainly does make them count when he's new.
Roger Merrett averaging just over a goal a match for his career, which is about 240 games. So he's kicked 10 in the first 2 weeks in 2 losing sides. That's not bad. Lambert. Across the ground. Freeman. Looking for the policeman. He'll get a stat here. Which one will we give it to? I don't think they want to actually have a kick, those policemen, with the boss watching. 41 goes against 41. Comes down to Chapman. Menegola's there. He was dragged round the collar. Scott, the son of Robbo's former opponent. Whistle's gone here. Bears free kick. Richmond fans wanted one for the black and golds. McIver. Oh, you're in trouble. Just around out. Edge of the goal square. From behind, BAIN flies, can't mark. Bullis caught by Leppitsch. Well, now they've got it, the Tigers. Young, hand pass on the bounce, Arrogance, Knights, Turner.
Turner's kick is good. Finds Campbell running beautifully through the half-forward area. Runs close to the player who was trying to block it was Buckley, and his kick close to the goal line. Bashed forward, but it hits the behind post, so a boundary throw-in will take place in the left forward pocket for the Tigers. Got it down very, very quickly then. Richmond, 2 minutes left in the game. Schaefer, excellent player. So is this boy, Kennedy. Leslie, who's picked up quite a number of possessions, runs up towards centre-half back and kicks it out towards the half-forward region. Underneath all that is Murphy, but he's tied up there. Could be Menegola, is it? Yes. Murphy struggling. Menegola hasn't done a bad job back there for Richmond. 13 kicks and 5 hand passes. Turner, backhander, good play. Knights tries to scramble his way through some difficult situations. Buckley back for Ashcroft. Ashcroft, little kick into the centre, and well done. Kennedy, handball, BAIN. BAIN goes across the field. Chapman makes a mark of it. Very short kick, but Chapman has done well.
He's covered some ground. He brushed one into the behind post just up the other end of the ground a moment ago. He's been up and down this park a lot.
He's got a very hard head too. Just ask Stevan Jackson. Torpedo.
65 metres out. He's onto it. He is onto it. What a kick.
That is one of the biggest kicks I have seen from here. At this ground, that was on the point of the square. What a magnificent kick. Here it is from the youngster. Look at him holding the ball deliberately across the body. Torpedo punt, and when you get onto them, they just keep going.
You dropped a few like that, didn't you?
Oh, I kicked 1 or 2.
Now, Nathan Chapman won the Sun kick in 1991, and that's how. What a kick.
Yes, it certainly was, wasn't it? Here's Leslie. That could have been deemed as a throw, but it's not. Buckley on the end of it. He's kicking towards centre-half forward, but taken by Scott. And Scott belts it back to the centre wing region. Ashcroft, Campbell, Knights. Handball away is all right. Eichel kicking towards half forward. Mark is good by Schaefer. He plays on, kicks it into the square where Hogg will mark. If he doesn't mark, it'll be a free kick.
Quick thinking by Schaefer.
So right on the siren, Jeff Hogg, who has kicked 6 goals, will certainly kick his 7th, I would think. Here's Hogg, just going through the formalities. He's now kicked 7 goals, and Richmond will win the game with a comfortable margin of 46 points. The Tigers 18-18, Brisbane 11-14, and Jeff Hogg, the leading goal scorer on the ground with 7, and for Brisbane, Roger Merrett kicked 4.
And the amazing thing about that is that Brisbane won the last quarter. So
yeah, they did. It's not on the scoreboard.
They won 2 of the quarters, and you'd get big money about that. Didn't look like it, did it?
I was very disappointed with Brisbane, and that man there could be very disappointed too, because I don't know. I just think they gave it away after quarter time.
Well, Jeff Hogg, welcome back. He missed last week. They got belted. He came back this week and kicked 7. Here he is with Jared here.
Yeah, 7 big goals, Jeff. A far different performance than last week.
Yeah, we knew we had to bounce back from last week. You know, got a bit of a thumping there. So knew the Bears were going to be tough, and we have to work hard, which we did. And we just kept grinding away, and we got away and did well.
Well, after a fantastic Foster's Cup series, he must have been disappointed. But what was the attitude of training this week from the coach?
Oh, he's pretty hard on us, you know, because Adelaide really, you know, worked us over. So he was just hell-bent on us getting back into the way we played in the Foster's Cup. We sort of went back into our old habits against Adelaide, you know, so tonight was a lot better.
And what was the problem last week, you not being able to play?
Injured.
We'll say no more of that.
Yeah, that's right. No, I just had a crook leg from the Foster's Cup, so which didn't come up, so I'm a lot better tonight.
Young Schaefer in the ruck, he looks to have some promise.
Yeah, Schaefer's a good player, you know, he gets up there, and we haven't had a ruckman for a while, you know, so he gets his hand on the ball most of the time. Yeah.
And who do you prefer to get the kicks on the chest from, Matthew Knights or Lambert?
Oh, I better not say. I might hurt one of them. Yeah, no, either.
Any or either, I
yeah,
guess. Well done. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks a lot.
What a performance by Jeff Hogg and the Tigers. Richmond 18-18, 126. The team's gone off the ground, so a separate cheer for the skipper as he leaves after the interview. Brisbane 11-14, 80. Well, that's a 140-point turnaround for the Tigers, beaten by 94 last week, and tonight winning by 46 points. 18-18, 126 to Brisbane, 11-14, 80. The difference was Jeff Hogg at full forward. He kicked 7 goals, 3. Other contributors, well, Naish kicked 2, Hernaman kicked a couple, and McQueen kicked 2 with Knights. And for Brisbane, their leading goal scorer was Merrett, who kicked 4, 3 in the last quarter. And Peos kicked their first 2 goals and then was off the ground for the rest of the night. We didn't see him after about the 7-minute mark. So, the Bears straight back to where they were. They kicked 22 goals last week and never looked anywhere near it tonight.
No, well, I didn't witness that game, but they've really got a problem. I mentioned in the last quarter I was looking for reasons why, and I think it's around midfield. A lot of their smaller players were manning up and playing a nullifying role on the Richmond on ballers, and consequently they were more concerned. Ashcroft, I saw on one occasion, had his back to play, looked for Knights, and Knights made the move, got the ball, and was fairly negative, and maybe they might have to loosen those guys and let them play their own game if they can play, you know, an attacking game again.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there, Don. I just felt that their smaller players, when they got the ball, were put under enormous pressure. Like BAIN, a lot of his kicks were ineffective. They were up in the air, scrubber kicks. Fletcher a little bit the same. He had something like 25 possessions, Fletcher, and he was a little bit in a similar mould as David BAIN. I thought Schaefer gave Richmond a tremendous start. I thought he was very good at the centre bounces.
Those hit-outs in the last quarter, 10-2, that was the pattern all night.
Well, I think he's a good prospect, young Schaefer. He's a bit on the thin side, isn't he? He'll probably build up a bit. But,
he doesn't really put his body in the centre bounces, but then again, he didn't have much opposition tonight.
That's right.
And in the night game, he was found out a little bit, but that's something he'll learn, and when he builds up and matures, he'll be a better player. He's very athletic, and he's got a good football brain too, and I think he'll be all right, Schaefer, eventually.
I'd like to give Drew a bit of a rap for Kennedy. He was Schaefer's opponent and was probably beaten in the hit-out area, but Matthew Kennedy fought on well, and I think if the spirit shown by him was followed by a lot of his teammates, I'm sure the difference wouldn't have been as big as it was.
Another thing that's a bit of a worry, where did all the Richmond supporters go? 75,500 turned up for the Foster's Cup. Tonight there were 14,000.
I think a few of the 75,000 were Essendon supporters, plus the people who just love to go to the footy.
They have got a big following, and don't worry, if they start winning games, they'll come out of the woodwork, the Richmond supporters.
OK, so it was a big win here to Richmond tonight by 46 points over the Brisbane Bears to break the ice and get their first win of the season. There's a new award in the AFL this year, a Rising Star Award. Bruce McAvaney takes a look at last week's first winner.
He's a Blue these days, but Carlton officials are still gnashing their teeth over a decision back in the early 80s that saw Bendigo recruit Greg Williams slip through their clutches. In 1984, the man considered too slow won the Recruit of the Year award, and by 1986 was the Brownlow medalist. Looking back over the years, some of the youngsters who have been voted Rookie of the Year by the 7 sports experts have lived up to those lofty predictions. In 1971, it was a shy wingman named Keith Gregg from North. He was playing for Victoria the same year and won back-to-back Brownlows just a couple of years on. Some faded, like Frank Marcassani, the dasher from Fitzroy, and Philip Walsh, the magpie who wanted to be a Tiger. Injury claimed Graham Jelly, the likeable Saint, while David Glascott, star of the class of 81, had a long and distinguished career. The best of the 85 troop, Carlton's Steve Silvani, continues to draw accolades. In 1993, $10,000 will be awarded to the players rated as the Norwich Rising Star. A panel of former greats in Ted Whitten, Mal Brown, Ricky Quaid, Russell Ebert, Gerard Healy and Chairman Alan Schwab will select the best youngster of the year. St Kilda's rookie ruckman Peter Everett is the first weekly nomination, following his outstanding debut against Geelong. The mobile 200-centimetre ruckman from Hastings on Victoria's Mornington Peninsula gathered 6 marks and 17 disposals against the Cats. To be eligible for this rich and prestigious award, the player must be under 21 on January 1 this year, have a clean record with the AFL Tribunal during the year, and not have played more than 30 AFL games by the time of the award.
So the Rising Star Award could be something to look forward to in season 1993. It'd be interesting to see which way the voting goes. Let's have a look at the statistics of some of the individuals here tonight, and the voting here for 3, 2 and 1 would be interesting. Jeff Hogg might have to feature.
Yes, well, he does as far as I'm concerned. Hogg received my second vote for the night, and mainly due to his kicking. They had to have somebody up forward to kick to, and you can see there he's had 11 shots for goal from 13 kicks.
Champion, not a bad job for the Bears. He had lots of problems trying to contend with Jeff Hogg down on the forward line, but finished up with creditable statistics.
BOG, as far as I'm concerned, the man on the half-back flank. He came from Melbourne. He was impressive, I thought, when at Melbourne, playing in a final a couple of years ago. He's finished up with 28 possessions, John Howard.
And Kennedy, I've already mentioned Matthew Kennedy, did a terrific job for the Bears all night.
And Wayne Hernaman, the Western Australian, wearing number 11, also worn by Western Australian Bruce Monteith. Got a lot of pace, and he'll get used to the tempo of the game.
Time now to check the CUB AFL 1993 Premiership Season League Ladder.
Well, not much movement on the league ladder, but Richmond, with their first win of the season, have moved up to 8th place. And, well, they're off and running. And the Brisbane Bears down the bottom there, still with Melbourne behind them, and Sydney, who haven't played yet, and Brisbane have played twice. Let's have a look at the remainder of the games in round 2. Collingwood and Geelong, it'll be a sellout tomorrow at Victoria Park. About 3 times as many who want to see it than will be able to see it. Essendon and Carlton, they both lost in the first round. They need a win tomorrow both. St Kilda and North Melbourne, Melbourne and Footscray. And on Sunday, 2 interstate games, Sydney against Hawthorn, and the 2 interstate teams, and what a ripper that should be, Adelaide and the West Coast Eagles. Well, the game that really worries the traditional followers of football in Melbourne is Sunday's game at Football Park between Adelaide and the West Coast Eagles. Is it a forerunner to a grand final we might see played between these two interstate sides?
Well, it could be, because they're doing particularly well. I was impressed with them, the West Coast last week, and not West Coast, the Crows, and I've picked them to make the six this year.
Did you? I left them out, actually. I'd quite wondered whether they've got a lot to improve their position on the ladder, but I think they'll win on Sunday. I think they're probably a little bit further advanced at this stage of the season than the West Coast.
And that crowd, they'll be baying.
Well, there's 42,000 are going to turn up, and they'll all be at the Adelaide Crows' backs, won't they? And aren't they arrogant with Andrew Jarman and company?
Absolutely. Well, that'll be some great telecast on Sunday, so whenever it's being shown where you are, please check your local guides for details. Hope you enjoyed the coverage tonight from the MCG, where the Tigers won easily.